fuck you staring at me for?
Listen, that's how we're kicking off the JAXXON podcast. Wait, what's wrong?
What, are we rolling?
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck you just sitting there all quiet and staring at me for?
Because you walked in looking like Michelangelo and Donatello, Raphael. Look at this guy. He's a fine crane.
And now you got TJ next to you. Now
fighting crime in New York City.
My only friend on the show, you got next to you, and he's.
I'm not your friend.
I'm not going against you.
No.
I'm not your friend.
You always
got the brand new
me.
JAXXON 10mm chain on, looking fresh. I'm not your friend.
No, you always making fun of me.
Bro, you look like Donatello. I'm waiting for Master Splinter to show up. You got
I tell you one
green
thing,
jeans on.
I tell you one thing. My brother Josh right here. He's always.
Bring it in. Give him a nice intro. Please.
Hey,
all right.
You want me to do this?
This is a scary duo. We better behave, dude. I don't know.
I'm scared of him. Him, I know his weakness. Him, I'm scared of. There's no
Asian
weakness
women.
here.
That's his weakness. You got a pocket full of those, you can distract a Rampage all day long. You can make a quick getaway.
What the fuck?
Gone. Ninjas throw smoke balls.
10-8 round.
I throw. You just need to throw Asian women at Rampage, and you're gone.
I guess I'm
Asian women.
I'm just on my own here on this show. Look
Asian
here.
women.
Fuck off. Look here, guys. We got a very special guest. This is the JAXXON podcast. We got Josh Barnett, the one and only, the best motherfucking heavyweight in my eyes that ever stepped foot in the UFC, the smartest motherfucking MMA fighter I know, and we got Bear DeGidio and my boy TJ Dillashaw.
That's a nice name, Dillashaw.
Yeah, I like that. I like that name.
Thanks.
I like that name. Hey, I want to start off like I just want to fucking act. What the fuck you got me into with this blood sport shit? I had no idea. I don't. You asked me like anything you asked me. I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to see you again. I want to hang out with you and stuff like this. It's been years. I said, okay.
In Japan at that.
In Japan at that. And then I'm seeing my opponent, and he looked like a motherfucking Japanese Neanderthal. What the fuck you got me into?
Only the best and most considered, the thing that I think you need most in your life, and that is to be sweated upon and mauled by a jacked ex-police officer, BJJ guy, MMA fighter with the gigantism in Japan. I think you need that.
That's the last thing I need. How much this guy weigh?
Right now, I don't know. Probably
is it kilograms? You thinking
280 maybe.
This motherfucker 280?
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, you're healthy. I mean, those pants make you look a lot bigger than you really are. But nonetheless, I know we got some weight. You got some caboose there.
Hold on.
Show the pants.
Yeah, show these pants. Go ahead.
Yo.
Go ahead. Oh,
look at that.
Look at this.
Where's Master Splinter?
Oh, yeah.
Holy Ninja Turtle.
Give it a twist. Give it a turn.
Oh, look
there
at
we
his
go.
shoes. His shoes are neon green. Put your shoe right here so the camera can see. Right here.
I took them off. Hey. Look. The off-whites, baby. The off-whites.
So off-white that they're green.
Don't,
that was crazy.
Don't come at me like that. My feet don't smell. I'll make sure of that.
God damn, bro.
I'm one of the cleanest motherfucking dudes you know.
Yeah.
He started putting Gold Bond in his shoes, and even when he found out there was no gold in it, he was like, still, it's all good.
Man, look at this. The first thing
Those are straight from Temu. Those are straight from Temu.
The first thing I said, I know Josh gonna be on my side.
Well, lovingly, yeah, I am.
Well, he's giving
For the
you
most part.
he's giving you a job right now, dude. You going out there and do some wrestling.
I'm
right?
gonna tell y'all something I know about Josh. Josh ain't never been no nigga blocker. He ain't never been no nigga blocker.
Nope, never.
Never.
Always a builder.
Always a builder.
Wait, what is that?
It's an inside joke. Josh made up.
So we're up at Big Bear, right? We're doing this training camp, and this Big Bear occasion for this camp. I mean, it was a great camp for me. I fought Mark Hunt. There's a bunch of folks.
The one with Tito was up there?
Yeah, some of the cast from The Ultimate Fighter that season. Oh, yeah. They were getting ready for their finale fights. You were getting ready for Matt Lindland. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of us all together, all training. We had a house set up that the main camp of us for the Rampage side was staying in and all that. But leading into this, so Rampage and I are training together all the time down at CSW in Anaheim Hills, the old location. And, I do my strength and conditioning work on my own with Lucius Smith back then. We get together, we'll spar, train. Depends on who's got what fight coming up, what we're working on. But leading into this camp, Rampage is like, that's right. Okay, let me tell you about something, partner. I got this camp coming up, and we're going to go up there. It's in Big Bear. It's in the hills and the altitude, and we're going to run. Cannot wait to kick your ass at running. I'm going to beat you at running so badly. And I'm just like, well, okay. If you do, you do. I'm all right with it. If you can kick my ass at running. If you're kicking my ass in the ring, I'll have to think about that, But kicking my ass and running, I guess I'll just have to take that one. Rampage just looked at me and just like, he just had it. He had all this stuff built around Big Bear. So anyways, we get up there. Of course, Rampage gets distracted, starts chit-chatting with somebody. How did you even come across this person? Was it on an app? Something?
No, I never use apps.
Anyways, in fact, I don't even think the apps existed.
Grindr.
Wow. He'd be popular though. You know what?
He was on Grindr.
No, look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
You were on Grindr?
He is.
I was making a joke, but that's
no. I'm saying he'd be popular. He would be popular. Oh, of course. Look at him. He's a specimen.
Yeah, you would do good.
Masculinity right there in the flesh.
A lot of swipe rights on you.
Yeah,
for real.
Right.
See, y'all know a lot about Grindr and swiping and shit. I never even seen it at.
As long as you can swipe your ass after taking a shit, that's a good start. So anyways, we're up there and he's chit-chatting with somebody on the phone. Actually, you know, I think you ran into this person on one of our trips into town, so to speak. And Rampage's like, where are you at? I'll come by. What are you up to? What are you doing? And he goes, give me the address. Nigger blocker. What the hell is that about? And I'm like, what's going on, Rampage? What kind of conversation you having? Man, I can't even go over there. Blockers? What are you? Not even allowed anywhere in the vicinity. I'm just laughing my ass off at some random ass conversation Rampage is having. And then somehow it came around. I'm like, look, man, I would never block you. I'm only a builder.
That's right. And ever since then, it's been an inside joke.
Well, he's building you up by taking you to Japan.
That's right.
Yeah. That's a good friend.
That's a good Hey, any excuse to go to Japan.
He beat Matt Lindland that time, too.
That's
and
right.
Matt was towards the peak of his career. It was a stylistic fight because Matt, being a really good Greco guy, surprisingly strong for his size, and had a couple go-to submissions that were pretty nasty. And Rampage got the better of him that fight, but it was a tough one.
It was a tough. He was an Olympian too.
Yeah, he was.
And
he was a smelly one you were talking about.
Yes,
we were talking about him
yes.
yesterday. We were talking about him yesterday.
And he'll admit that stuff too. He would say that he would deliberately not shower before matches and do different stuff. Yeah.
But I've heard stories that, like, after practice, he'd just go in the shower and spin around 2 times to jump out.
What?
I'm telling you, that's what his teammates.
Wait, so there's a proper technique to showering?
For him.
What are you supposed to do when you shower?
You know what I do?
What?
Did you know that black people use a washcloth when we shower?
Wait, I think everybody
All black
uses
people everywhere using a washcloth?
Everybody uses a
assume,
washcloth.
but
The Japanese use them too.
I use a
They do.
loofah.
No. I heard that some people don't use washcloths and they make fun of people for using washcloths. Some people just take the bar soap or the soap and just.
I mean,
I
I
just
don't,
use a
I
soap.
don't, I don't
I'm
use
just
a
a soap
washcloth.
guy.
Me too.
But
I use a washcloth.
I do like the Japanese. They'll have like a deliberate washing cloth. It's not terry or anything like that. It'll be made out of a substance that helps it foam up a lot better.
A loofah.
And it kind of like that. And then they'll have them even with a little bit of what would you call it? Not adhesive, but right. It'll have a bit of like a aggressive texture to it, depending. And you can scrub your back and all this kind of stuff.
Have you ever been to one of those co-ed bathhouses in Japan? What the people get in the bath?
Oh yeah,
you have.
Oh yeah, tons of times. But I have to go to ones that allow tattoos now because I have one tattoo I can't cover.
No way.
Yeah.
You can't have tattoos in public?
Not in the
you know what? It's
pools
still
and-
getting a bit better there. And clearly, all my tattoos are. Well, and even if you look at Rampage, his tattoos are not the kind of tattoos where this kind of law was created. But they treat it all the same.
Yeah.
And if you got a tattoo, then you must be like a person involved in illicit stuff or
Really?
Kind of a grimy dude. But hey, if we were to go to a gym, Rampage would just wear a long sleeve.
Yeah.
Unless it was like if it was Crazy Bee, they wouldn't care. But if we just went to some regular workout gym there, he'd wear a long sleeve. And some of the bathhouses used to let you get away. You could wear like a rash guard, but they won't do that anymore either. So once I got the tattoo on my rear shoulder blade back there, it's like, nope, you can't cover it.
Wow, so you like the bathhouses in Japan?
I've never been to a co-ed bathhouse
Well,
in Japan.
it was co-ed, but the bathing area is separate.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen one where it was the same. And then there will be co-ed areas where people all have like lounging clothes on and stuff. You can go eat and get massage and do whatever. And it depends on like how big the place is.
So you was in a pool with a bunch of naked Japanese dudes.
Yep. Yes, I was.
How did you like that?
Oh, it was delightful. Are you kidding? Get enough of them, give them enough garlic, it turns into a jacuzzi.
Man, they get mad if you go into the sauna with your clothes on there. They get mad if you're not naked.
Yes, they do.
They get very upset. They want to look at your everything. I remember one time I went to a water park there, and I had to change clothes, and they didn't have it in a locker room. So Japan is weird about about being nude. They don't care. They mix it up, and women would change right in front of you and everything, right? And this Japanese guy that was with me, he just stripped down and started changing right next to me. I'm like, God damn, like what the fuck, right? And then so everybody was changing. Then it was my turn. I promise you, this is no bullshit. The whole place got quiet. I was the only black guy there.
Yep.
It's just like a
I can believe
waiting
this.
for you to change.
Oh my God, they was all waiting for me. And this one girl was doing her makeup in a mirror in a locker. And I saw her, I was right next to her. I saw her, she angled her mirror and she was trying to look at me. So I just changed like up under my towel and I didn't let none of my stuff show. Then it went back to normal. Everybody started talking. They were just waiting for me to change.
He's been a little nervous lately. And I think it's because of your event.
Well, he won't have to change in front of everybody. You know, we'll give you a locker room.
I get a locker room.
Yeah, you can have some privacy.
I don't got to be naked in front of everybody.
Not everybody, just me.
I think this Bloodsport event has been making him a little nervous. I didn't want to put out your business, but I know you've been walking around the gym. You've been pacing. You asked Luke yesterday, "What do you do if someone hits you?" I said, "Rampage, you're a world champion. You have a belt. What do you mean? What do you do if someone hits you? You hit him back." He's been a little nervous.
Yeah, I've never done Japanese style pro wrestling before.
That's true, but you're about to. You were about to. And you know what? It's just like I said to him to begin with. I go, I am not going to put you into something that I don't think is over your head, right? You know, that's why these green pants, you can rock that.
There we go.
But we go yellow, chartreuse.
I think you should go back to the Valley Tudos.
No.
Wait,
Come
what's the
on.
Valley Dudas?
The diaper he was wearing.
Wait, Rampage used to wear a diaper?
yesterday?
No, not a diaper.
That's
Just
beginning of my
We
career.
were just joking yesterday about it. They're short tights.
All right, good.
Yeah, they're just short shorts.
Don't wear a diaper in Japan. And
No,
make us
I'm
look
wearing
bad.
I'm wearing my normal fight trunks that I normally wear.
Just like the thong, the black one.
And you got to wear your chain out.
What?
For sure got to wear your chain.
What?
Is he going to get any practice? Is he going to be able to do any practices like before this match?
Well, yeah, we're going to spar. We're going to train some, all that. You know, get them ready.
Man, I used to spar him all the time, man. I used to love him until he broke my sternum.
Who broke it?
This motherfucker.
No.
Accident.
Man,
I need him on purpose. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't supposed to have any actual lasting implications.
Yeah, sternum for sure.
Oh my! It's still broken to this day.
Stop.
It's
No,
his
no.
cartilage.
It's like 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's still broken. It's been like
Look,
15 years.
If I'm the one in the hospital dying, Rampage will come up and be like, you know, my sternum still hurts. It's all right. I know you're dying and all that. I don't want to bring the mood down.
Yeah.
Wait, it hurt that bad?
Yeah, I didn't.
It
know
messed
he
him
broke
up a bit.
Yeah, I didn't know he broke it because after we trained, I had to go to take a flight somewhere, and I bent down to put something under my seat. I'm like, oh damn, what's that?
I bet you separated your cartilage in your sternum.
Yeah, it never went back.
Yeah.
What did you do to him?
A Muay Thai knee.
It's just a knee. And if you watch me fight, I throw a lot of knees. But the best must have been however you were crafting this story and the way it was making its rounds. Because whatever you must have said to Herb Dean had him shook.
For real?
Shook. He came up to me like, excuse me, sir, I don't want to offend you. I hope you don't get angry. Like, protect, please, not my sternum. He just rolled up and he's like, what did you do to Rampage? All grim and sullen. And I'm like, what the?
I'll probably just complain.
Look, I just checked his prostate. It's good. You know? He's healthy. He's another 20 years and he can get it checked again. But he's just like,
It's that time then.
yeah, he's all,
time
he
now.
was just like,
We gotta check his prostate right now.
Y'all
as
gotta be
far as
fucked
I
up.
could tell, Rampage was telling everyone that basically we were sparring with baseball bats and football helmets. You know, that's
No,
what
we
it
used to go.
seemed like.
Josh and I, we used to go.
Yeah, we did.
We had
Really?
some wars. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was 205. He's heavyweight.
Yeah.
But I like sparring with big dudes because little guys, sometimes they just puss out. No guys my size or something.
Like better work?
He's better work. He's tough.
But was he tough enough for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had wars.
It
sometimes.
was a mutually beneficial relationship, and with it, a lot of it, I was helping coach Rampage too. At the same time, we're all sparring, but this is the thing about that type of training back then, and that is for me especially. If you come in and you get through it with what we do, then I'm here for you. But if you think it's like, you got to do this for me, and like, all right, I'm good. Like, I got plenty of people to work off of, and like leading into that whole camp up in Big Bear and all this is part of it. It's like I'm training, prepping for my fight, but at the same time, I'm helping get Rampage ready for his match against Matt Lindland, working on specific strategies and particular moves to work out of or to look out for. And so it was just like, look, man, he came here to help me, so I'm there to back him up. And I was in the corner.
Yeah, he shocked me in that training camp too, because honestly, I thought since he was so big, like one of his legs was bigger than both of mine. I got big legs, so I thought I could outrun him and stuff.
That was pretty funny. Why he got so dead set on kicking my ass at running, I don't know why.
Wait, why?
Because he was bigger than me. Because I'm gonna be honest. I had my moments in sparring and stuff, but most of the time, Josh kicked my ass. I'm gonna keep it real. But I had my moments when he got tired.
Rampage didn't hold back. He gave it. I mean, we had great rounds and great sessions, and we were pushing each other to our utmost, which is what was important.
Yeah, so he got competitive. So I thought I could outrun him. And I remember we had in Big Bear, it's thin, the air is thin, the altitude. So we was running up a hill. I just knew I was going to get him. And I fucking gassed myself out trying to catch him.
So he starts in with all this whole shit about running, and this is like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And Rampage is like, when he gives you that look and he holds it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Trying to get you to laugh. Yeah.
And he was serious this time. He's like, Like, he wanted to let you know he meant it, right? So
for you to think that you could beat a guy like Josh when you watch him fight, his mental toughness and your grit and you're just go like,
yeah, but I just might be slower, because I'm just a bigger guy, and he ran a lot more than me, so I didn't really run at all for conditioning. I did all circuits and sparring and weight training and different stuff like that, but I didn't run. So knowing that we were going to go up to Big Bear, what I did was I backed off on my sparring work and all that, and I just spent 3 days a week instead of the 2 normally with my strength conditioning guy, Lou. And I just said, okay, I got to make sure that my cardio and my heart rate is up well enough so that when I have to deal with that altitude, I'm not going to fall apart. So I just worked really hard in strength conditioning work and just stayed sharp in the gym. And then we got up there. First thing I do, first day, I just go outside and jump rope for 10 minutes. Okay, I can feel that a little bit. And we're getting our work in, and then come the first run. And they have it set up where we all get in the van, and they drop us off, and then the van goes up the hill, and it'll be at the end. So it's like, bye, see you up there. And this is the first run. Rampage give me that fucking look, and he's just all giggly and see. He was just like, I'm like, okay, bro.
Oh yeah, I was really.
He was. Just
I wanted
like,
to beat him.
This meant something. And Mayhem Miller was there, and all these guys, right? Varying dude, the Lunchbox, who making his ass run up that hill is pretty funny. But Brian's a good dude. And Savant, I don't think Savant was there yet at that point in the camp. But his little legs, T-Rex. But so I get out the car and we starts going. I got my iPod. This is how old this was. And I accidentally fumble it and drop it. Try to pick up, drop it again. I'm like, oh, you dumbass. So I'm like, well, all right, got my music on in the back. Let's get going. Everyone, they're gone. You're dummy, whatever. I'm going. And I'm just in my own head, listening to my music, just hearing my breath, just going. Starts getting a bit steeper. Keep going. Passing a few guys. Going. Rampage says he heard the footsteps and he looked behind. He's like, oh, fuck. I can't get. And I just kept getting closer. And when I passed him, he just looked at me like, whatever, fuck you. You know what? Fuck you. This isn't the only running we're doing. Fuck you. Have fun. Bye. Fuck you. He said all that in a look. Just to like, he is like a disappointed parent, but for a different reason, man. I was really upset. So I just keep cruising. I laughed and I kept cruising. Just keep going. Now, not seeing anybody. And I'm just in my own space, just bang, 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 bang. And the more I attack the hill, the more I just keep going. Bang, 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 bang. I look up and I see Mayhem. Now he's he's at the top. So I started behind everybody by I don't know how long. And then I've covered all that ground all the way up this, 3-mile hill run, something. I'm just charging up and I see Mayhem and I'm just like, all right, we'll see. And I just, and eventually Mayhem just back behind me. I keep going. By the time I get to the top, there's the van. No one's there. And I just shadow box for like a minute until everybody else catches up.
I have no idea how he beat all those. When he passed me all, I remember seeing those big ass Tyrannosaurus Rex, big ass legs passing me.
Well, and my explanation to Rampage was, and he goes, okay, yeah, that's fine and all that distance, but we're gonna run sprints, and I'm gonna see your ass on the field. I go, okay. So we line up for sprints. The next time we go to do sprints, and there's a section of the field that's kind of wet and muddy. We warm up, we do our thing, and I'm looking at all the competition. I'm like, I wonder who I'll be able to beat. I don't know how fast Rampage is. He could be pretty quick. Our friend Brandon, I look down.
Brandon Brown? Oh, yeah.
There's about 225, shredded, jacked, amazing guy, great dude. But he's got those black, high, skinny calves. And I looked down, I was like, oh, fuck you. You're going to be the problem. You're going to be the guy, asshole.
He's a great athlete.
Oh, he is. And first sprints, we're doing shorter ones, and then bang, take off. Rampage looks over, and he's like, I think I won that sprint. Then and I'm not even thinking about Mayhem, who later tells me as we're doing these things, he said it was like being behind one of those, what are they? The hydroplanes, in mud. He said water was just flying up off of the back of my feet and all over his face as he's trying to sprint. And I'm just looking down this thing at Brandon the whole time, trying to beat him, because I'm either beating him or most of the time he's getting me just at the end there. And I'm like, you motherfucker, I'm going to catch you. And after a while, Rampage just looks at me and like, you know what? Fuck all this. What are you, some sort of like genetic freak? Fuck off.
Yeah,
he just quit. He's like, I'm just running my own race from now on.
Yeah, I gave up after that.
And we get to the end of it all, and I'm like, look, Rampage, just because I said I hate running, I don't like to do it, doesn't mean I'm not good at it. Because at like 250-ish, I could run 6 minute something mile. Nice. I'd run 11 flat in the 100.
You was 250 back then?
Yeah.
Did you play football in high school or something?
Yeah, I ran a 4.9 40 at 260.
I didn't know all this.
Damn.
I didn't know all this at the time.
You didn't know you were dealing with an athlete?
No, I knew it, but after that training camp, that's when I thought that he was superhuman, because, mind you, we hadn't been up in Big Bear that long at this time, so none of us was acclimated to the high altitude.
Yeah.
So I just thought that I was going to beat him there.
I love hearing these like training camp relationships, right? And how they're going to push one each other. Like having Rampage involved in your training camp, saying he's going to beat you in a run up the hill or beat you in sprints is like going to push you even harder, right? And having that relationship is super important. Having those guys around you. And
it was a lot of fun, right? I mean, we were competitive too. I mean, we really did want to win. And especially on that hill run, I was just like, fuck, 3 miles up this thing. All right. But I'm going after it. And I've always been good at running uphill anyways. But the sprints thing, I wanted to see, like, I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. Like I can flow. I can haul ass if I have to as a big guy. And it's always surprising. So I wanted to like see if I could shock Rampage and smoke him in some sprints.
You was the only heavyweight up there too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Rico came up for like a day or two, but really,
he didn't want to. If I can remember correctly, he didn't want to spar with you.
No, he didn't.
Wait, why not?
Man,
Josh, I don't like him for one.
You never liked Rico?
Well, no, it was him and Tito like dogged me after Rico won the title, and they talked a bunch of shit on me on the pay-per-view.
What'd they say?
Oh, they were just like, oh, we did it clean. We did this. We did that.
Tito Ortiz?
Like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I thought we were buds, but you saw a moment that you could step over somebody else and try to elevate yourself by bringing me down. It's like, that's cool. Nice to know.
Well, I didn't know all this.
Tito and who else tried to dog you?
That was Tito and Rico.
Oh, Rico did it too.
Yeah,
Yeah, Rico was in on it. Yeah, I'm just like, wow, you guys funny hypocrites.
Is that why you kicked Tito's ass up there in Big Bear?
Well, and because if I'm going to get in the ring with you, you're going to get your ass whooped.
I saw him because we always sparring. We was always training, and this is my first time seeing Tito spar him. So I'm sitting there watching with popcorn.
Wait, how bad?
When you say you have like Rampage there and it makes your training camp so much funnier, right? Like I can attest to that because he's part of one of like my hardest training camps when I train at the training lab in the garage and working our ass off. He's always got me laughing. Even if we're dead, like the hardest workout you could possibly have, he's still got me laughing. And I think that's important as well.
Yeah,
right?
we knew that we had to work hard and we were going to push it and we were going to spar our asses off. But there was a lot of positive reinforcement and everything. It's like, okay, Rampage, this thing you did here, you got me here. We need to keep doing this, and this is why it worked, and this is why it'll work again if you use it like this and use it like so. It was all about. We're not sitting back keeping score to think about how we can get over on the other guy. We're going to compete to our utmost every single time, but we're all trying to build each other up and realizing that this is hard as fuck. We already accept that. Yeah. But we didn't choose to do this because we just needed a buck. Yeah. There's other ways to make money, and we love doing this. And the camaraderie and the brotherhood of it all makes it that much more fulfilling and worthwhile.
Yeah, that's my style. I have to laugh and joke around while I'm training. I train hard, but I have to joke around and laugh just so
makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, it makes it easier for me.
Yeah. Now a question for me: was Rampage part of your training camp for Couture? No.
I was still living up in Washington.
Oh, okay. That's a fight that obviously I always
my old student Reese Andy was.
Okay.
In Wyoming.
Cool.
Yeah.
That was an amazing fight.
Yeah, how old were you when you beat Couture?
24. I was the youngest UFC. I still am the youngest UFC heavyweight champion of all time. Sweet. But when I beat Couture, I was the youngest UFC champion of all time. Wow. And that stayed until John Jones beat me by like a couple months.
No way.
In age, yeah. Oh. And so now he's the youngest UFC champion, and I'm still the youngest UFC heavyweight champion of all time. And
just by a couple months.
Yeah, just by a couple months. And it's also funny because I used to train with Rampage and helped him prep for his, or not Rampage, sorry. I did used to train with Rampage, but I used to train with Couture as well. Because he'd come up and train under Maurice Smith, who was a training partner and coach of mine. And then we'd all train together. The Team Quest guys, Lin, Evan Tanner, rest in peace, Nate Quarry, they'd all come up and we'd all train together.
In Washington?
In Washington, yeah. And with Couture, it was prepping him against Peter Hizzo. We'd grapple and I'd always get him in a leg lock or something. I always get the submission. We'd wrestle hard and have good hard wrestling rounds. And we'd spar. We'd go all out, but but we were still pushing each other. We were good training partners, and Randy was really good in the room like that. Same with Linland. But in the fight, I'm just thinking, all right, he's totally not going to try and take this fight to the ground. He's going to try and keep it standing. He's been working a lot of stand-up. He fought Peter Hizzo on the feet mostly. He fought Vitor. I'm expecting a brawl, a battle of striking. Motherfucker shot a double under every right hand I threw, and I'm like, wow, okay, we'll do this that way, I guess then. Yeah, and in the end, I got him to bail, running from a leg lock, got on top, soccer kick to the body, and took him out. But it's just like, I just was so, every single time I had no concept that he would ever try and take me. Like, he's not going to do it.
That's probably why he did it. He was really methodical like that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Soccer kick to the stomach. I love that. I mean, that's got to feel.
And I told Big John, I would love to soccer kick someone in the stomach. Big John, because they had been made, soccer kicks to the head at that point were illegal. Yeah. And so I just go, look, man, I'm going to throw a soccer kick in this fight if I get the chance, but I'm telling you it's at a legal target. Okay, you better I go, yep. I know what I'm doing. And as soon as I went after the leg, he bailed, came up on top, snapped him down, and he was trying to reach to get a single or something, and I had him head down, and I just angled off, soccer kick in the body. Then he rolled to his back, and then I just dove into the half guard and just went to work.
Nice.
Damn. Imagine being that confident to tell the ref, like, yo, dude, I'm
I didn't want him to freak out because nobody else is going to do this anymore and just be like, I can't,
It's still like a scary thing,
and people online started pissing their pants angry, saying like, he cheated, he broke the rules, he did this illegal move. It's like, hit a legal target. Fuck you, loser.
Yeah, people wasn't doing the soccer kicks.
No, and yet my first UFC fight against Gan McGee, knees to the head of ground opponent were still legal. I don't know if soccer kicks were still, but yeah, a lot of that stuff was still allowable.
In the UFC?
Yep.
Wait, that's a good point, TJ.
They should be still.
Why?
100% they should be.
Because, look, we're fighting, and playing this bullshit game of putting your hand down to protect yourself, it just makes so much like controversy with legal, not legal. Just like, stop playing that game. Like, it takes away certain techniques. Like, you have to learn to shoot a legitimate shot. If you take a half-ass shot, I'm going to make you pay for it, And
if a guy's getting front headlocked, put into a bad position and just get kneed in the side of the head, that's going to change. He's going to have to bail out of that position. He can't just hang there. Exactly. But as it stands right now, if he takes that shot, he gets put in a front headlock. Of course, there are threats from submissions and various things like that. As much, but it's just like, well, you can sit down here and just keep grappling. And if this guy wants to punch you, he's got to let go of his hold. The other thing about it is that if you really want to argue what would be more beneficial to a fight, I would say replacing elbows with knees on the ground would be better, because as much as elbows are an incredible and an awesome weapon, I love them, they cause cuts. So there was a whole series of fights where Kenny Florin would get in a good scrap with a guy, snap him with a cut, or even be losing. That's it. Fight's over. We're stopping it. Cut's too bad. It's like, wait a second. And that was good technique on Kenny's part. You know, nothing to say about what he did. He's doing the right thing. But the nature of the way these fights are reffed and the way the commissions look at it, it's like, oh, well, that's a bad cut. Fight's over. And I get that and I understand it. But if you wanted to reduce something like cuts and trade it for knees to the head, that would make more sense. But, overall, I just feel like there is a place for a more open, more dynamic type of fighting environment. You know, last time I was on Ariel's show, I'm like, look, we should have 10-minute first rounds. And people threw a fit. And I'm like, you guys are so, you don't even understand what MMA was. You don't know what NHB is. You don't know any of this shit. You don't get it. Like, you guys watch one product and you think you know everything that there is to know about MMA. But, as it turns out, the fuck you do.
Yeah. Since this is Bear's favorite month, Pride Month, I have to say that I really enjoy Pride rules.
Yes.
That's my favorite set of rules.
I wish I could have fought Pride. I really do.
That shit used to give me goosebumps.
Yes, exactly. When you'd hear those drums kick in and they'd drop that curtain from front of everyone, ba-boom, and stuff would go off, and it's like, Pride Friday Championship.
That lady announcer is
Lenny
awesome.
Hart. Yeah, she'll be announcing you when you come out.
There we go, dude.
Yeah.
No way.
How old is she?
She's 60.
Ageless.
She told me she was 60, so I talked to her the other day.
How you talk to her?
On Instagram. She's my friend.
English?
You holler at her?
No, we talk.
Like, you used to talk to her or no?
Yeah, she's American, right?
Yeah, he is trying to fuck with you.
I know he always tried to fuck with me. No,
but
she's not my type.
Yeah,
she's my friend. She's my friend.
Lenny's
she's
the homie.
Asian, right?
What is your type?
She's not? She's American?
Yeah, American.
Oh, no way.
Speaks fluent Japanese.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, tell them I don't only like Asian girls.
That's true. No, I can verify.
Did we not go on double date?
Yes, we did go on a double date. Not a single one of them was Asian.
You and Rampage Jackson went on a double date.
Yeah.
We went on a double date years ago with two hot-ass black models, baby. Where? In LA.
Everywhere.
Yeah. We were dating them for a while.
Yeah.
What do you mean we were dating them?
They was best friends.
How does this double date happen?
Oh, Rampage met him first.
Yeah.
This is a dangerous double date.
And I guess it was like, well, look, man, she got her friend here, so yo, you want to come kick it with that? Well, actually, it wasn't even set up like that. I just showed up and we got on.
Yeah,
that was it.
It was good. We had a good time.
How'd you choose him as your wingman?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, Josh,
no, but how,
bro?
Josh, were you guys partying that lot?
Y'all don't know Josh like I know Josh. Josh is cool as fuck.
I can imagine. I'm just saying I never would have imagined that was your wingman.
Yeah.
You're dating two hot supermodels.
We, in for a penny, in for a pound. Brothers got each other's backs.
Yeah.
Right?
When you go through those training camps together, you build such a bond that's like unbreakable. You become
except for his sternum.
I was never mad at you though.
Oh, no, for real. Yeah, I didn't even know there was a problem.
No,
I didn't know it was as serious as it was until Herb came up to me and acted like someone just died.
No, I never was mad. I knew it wasn't on purpose.
We never tried to injure each other.
No,
like this, and this is still the same way with me with sparring now. If I see you get like wobbled a little bit, I'm like, I back off. Like, no, no more headshots. If it wasn't that bad, or no, you're taking a break. Like nobody's getting hurt today. You got to move through it. And even to the degree, like let's say, if I was ripping low kicks on someone, getting a bunch them, and all of a sudden they can't, it's like, all right, I ain't going to kick your leg no more. That's
in
it.
Sparring.
No, because if I do, I already know that I've exploited that. Number two, if I really fuck this guy's leg up, now he's got to sit out for a week, and now I don't have him to work with. And what did he really learn other than just like, well, you got to work on your low kicks, but to the degree like, I can sit around fucked up over it. Well, he's not working on it.
He learned not to fuck with you.
Well, I guess there's that too. Yeah. Rampage would laugh watching people get wrecked. Oh, he would sit back in the corner because he's Rampage. He goes he would say this. He's like, he does that shit to me. Now I'm gonna watch him do it to you. He set up James Thompson, got him suplexed.
What do you mean?
They was wrestling around, and I saw
James working to his feet. And Rampage, and James is sitting there
Did you
thinking
tell him
like,
to go to his feet?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
But he already had the body lock. You don't do that when Josh got the body lock. You don't
Suplex.
He did it to go.
And Rampage over there.
Why you set up your people like that?
I like entertainment.
Yes, he does.
It was very entertaining.
He didn't have a cell phone with all the games and everything. He just had that snake game on it. So
Snake game, the Nokia.
Yeah.
TJ, you're known for going pretty hard in the gym. Do you agree with having like a good pace in the gym? I mean, it seems like you always win at 100. We've heard some crazy stories.
Yeah, I definitely get a bad rap for it. I think it's just how competitive I am, and wanting to be a champion. Like I never wanted to go into practice and ever lose a practice. It like pissed me off to like the fullest.
I practice like sparring.
Yeah. So I got a question. Did you at least pay your sparring partners?
No.
Yeah, you asshole.
but I never brought them in just to spar me.
Okay,
We're both like me and Archuleta. We're both in camp, or me at Alpha Male. Like everyone's in like. At Alpha Male, we held each other accountable to where, like, even when you're not in camp, you have to be there for your teammates.
Yeah,
right?
okay, that's different.
And so we were all trying to make it.
Yeah.
You know, I was fighting before the UFC had my weight class, and we're trying to make a name for ourselves. So you got to show up to practice, and you got to, even if you're not in camp, I need to be there for Benavidez, Mendez, Faber, like whoever else was getting ready. You know?
I was there for Mendez's first fight.
Dope. Yeah, up in Lemoore.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
They're sitting next to Uriah's dad.
Okay.
Hanging out.
Theo.
You ride Faber?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my style. This is my style, what I do with my sparring partners. I paid my sparring partners like some of them, you know, like the ones that we bring in just for me. And from experience, ever since I started fighting in like Pride or the UFC, if they see me fight on TV, they always like try and see if they can get me, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just go normal and I just wait to that moment. And when they take liberties, what I call it, then since I'm paying them, I would try to knock them out.
Yeah.
But like, for instance, like you two training together, like he wasn't paying you to be
we wasn't.
Exactly, because like it's a win-win.
Yeah, we
mutual
work.
beneficial.
I've always found that win-win training camp. I never had to pay to bring someone in because I'd always find someone else.
It is good to pay people and bring them in, though. One, it's part of like the economy of fighting. A lot of things that are in boxing didn't start yesterday. They come from a long line. This is back from even when professional wrestling were straight up matches all the time, catch wrestling matches. You might pay someone to come in and be a part of your camp, and this is, you know, things like the weigh-ins, right? And the what would you like, the public weigh-ins and the open workouts. Those are holdovers from way back in the day for pro wrestling and boxing. Let's have it. He's going to go do an open workout. What is he doing? He's showing you how he looks, what kind of shape he's in, what kind of speed, whatever. He's giving you an athletic example. So when it comes to bet, where are you going to bet? Or to create excitement as to why you want to watch this fight, he might do a feat of strength. He might wrestle with his partner. He might hit pads. He might hit the bag. He might do any kind of thing. That's where these open workouts come from. The public weigh-in, so everyone can check him out, like racehorses. Okay, you know what? I think this guy looks like he's a little out of shape. I'm going to bet against him.
I never thought of that.
So with boxing, you know, you pay sparring partners to come in and be a part of that camp. The other thing about boxing would be the model of having a coach or a trainer and a manager construct a whole camp around it. This is where those percentages of purses and all this kind of stuff come in there, because like these guys are putting a ton of time and logistics into and they would get all your sparring partners for you, and they're putting the money out first. That's where that comes from. But you know, paying a sparring partner can be good because, one, people got to travel, right? So you got to cover all that to make sure that they're not out of pocket for it. The other thing is they're in to just spar you. You're not training them. Nobody's working with them. They're not. And over time, maybe you guys develop a rapport. Maybe your coach takes a liking to him, says, hey, we should work with this guy. And you know, things like that happen. But by and large, just bringing a guy in, all right, he's just a body. That doesn't mean you necessarily disrespect him, but it means that, you know, we can replace you if need be.
If you was a boxer, how much would you charge Mike Tyson to be a sparring partner?
Yeah, right.
You know,
I don't know how much I would charge. I wouldn't charge Mike Tyson anything.
You wouldn't charge Mike Tyson to be a sparring partner.
Well, I mean, it depends. Is he Mike Tyson amateur?
No. Mike Tyson is 19, 20 years old, 21-year-old Mike Tyson, champion.
I would, you know what? I would pay him to collect money for me. That's what I would do. I would use Mike Tyson
you wouldn't be a sparring partner?
If I could do MMA, yeah, sure. Why not?
I mean, from my experiences, paying someone, they're there for the money and getting paid for the most part. And the situations I've found to be the most beneficial is when you find someone else that's hungry, looking to be a champion, is willing to do whatever it possibly takes to get in the room with you and grow with you. And like, I feel like I've noticed more of a benefit from finding those training camps because I have hired training partners. Like when I fought Barau, I paid for guys to come out and train with me. But I feel like I got better training partners when they were there for their own growth rather than for the money.
I could see that, and I would agree with it overall. Like I had much more of my career was like what me and Rampage are talking about. But bringing in somebody who, he's getting paid to go out there. And here's the other thing. Their career is not your concern either. So if they want to go and spar super hard and put in all this time and work and then go take a break, you ain't got to worry about it. And you don't have to train them. You don't have to work with them. They're a part of your camp, and they're not necessarily, they're there for a purpose of sparring.
True.
And it's good for, they get paid and they get time in the ring with you, which is also a benefit. Yeah. Not taking into account where anybody's skills or where their career is at. It's just simply, this is a different body. I've never sparred this person. Maybe they're southpaw. Maybe they're not. Maybe they switch. All these different aspects. Well, now you get a look against a particular type of opponent that you wouldn't have had an opportunity to train with before.
Yeah, sure. I like paying my sparring partners because sometimes I ask them to fight a certain way.
Yeah,
that too.
Yeah, fight like this guy I'm fighting, and that's not normally the way they fight. So it's kind of like a disadvantage for them. I'm like, got to look this way.
And usually Rampage is like, okay, this guy, he's really heavy on blowjobs. That's like his number one skill. And so these guys are like, I don't know how good of a dick I can suck, but at least I'm getting paid.
I guess I am alone on this fucking show.
What were you doing at camp? What were you doing at camp?
That got your interest right there, huh?
You got me.
You want a training camp now?
You got me crazy, dog.
They talking about bro jobs.
Yo, I don't know what happened in Big Bear with you and Tito Ortiz.
Hey, it wasn't Brokeback Mountain.
I could have been with you and Tito. I've seen the photos of you guys in the hills. Loco's looking crazy. We saw him. They released a few photos of you and
Loco. You on my side on this, right?
Loco, pull up the photo of Tito and Rampage with those fur coats on naked in the hills of Big Bear.
Shut the fuck up.
It could have been AI, my bad. Listen, what about AEW last year? Talk to me about that.
That was fun. Mainly, I was just there. Well, part of it was this card gets announced that this event's going to be, it's in Seattle, and it's an Antonio Inoki tribute show, which it didn't end up being that much of an Inoki tribute show. But that place gets kind of chaotic at times, and it's hard to keep all these things together. But so I hit them up and I'm like, are you kidding? Now, if you're going to have an Inoki tribute show in Seattle and you don't have like the number one direct student of Inoki from Seattle on your show, that is ridiculous. Like, there's no way that could work. And we put something together. There was plans to do a bit more, but in the end, it just ended up being the single match with Claudio, and it was fantastic experience. And a lot of it was me just wanting to get out there and go, show me what you got. Let's see how it goes.
So you've been doing pro wrestling in Japan?
I've been pro wrestling since 2002. I was a part of New Japan Pro Wrestling way back then, and I've been professional wrestling ever since. Just not, it would come and go depending on what was going on with whether I was in UFC or not. But yeah,
I've always wanted to do that. I didn't know how to get in.
You just had to call your brother.
I didn't know.
He will build you up, not block you.
I had no idea you was out there doing that. Back then, the internet wasn't big back in 2002. I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yeah. How about in 2008? How about in 2010?
Yeah, but I didn't see that shit.
What do you mean? Wait, what kind of comment is that? The internet wasn't big in 2000. You've known him. Still know him. We're in 2024.
He didn't brag about it. I didn't see that he was out there doing pro wrestling. I always wanted to go out there and excuse to go out there to pro wrestling. But I want to ask you about your car. How did you get Sakuraba on your car?
Oh yeah.
Oh well. Let's see. How did I go about that? Well, I sent a carrier pigeon off to Kanagawa.
He's funnier than you.
Man, fuck you.
He's funnier than you. He in shape. He heavyweight. He knows what? Why are you making
No. You trying to imply that I'm not in shape?
No, you look like a green jelly bean. He came in looking like a Lethal Weapon. What do you mean?
Man.
What? You like Joe Pesci in Lethal Weapon. He like Mel Gibson. All right, so as we're sitting here with the luck of the Irish, we got that.
You ain't getting pitched on St. Patrick's Day.
We got the Keebler elf himself over here, dude.
Who doesn't like those? What are those things? The chocolate covered ones?
Rampage loves anything covered in chocolate.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
I've been on the dates.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Wait, what'd you guys do on the date? Give me one little inside tip. You smashed?
We sat at a table with a bottle in a club, like every idiot does.
What club? What club?
I don't know. They're all dead by now, anyways.
Man, it was years ago. No, I still talk to her. I stopped talking to her.
No, I meant the clubs are dead.
Oh yeah.
Whoa, no.
I said the girls was dead. They not that old. They still hot. Bro, those girls are still hot. They
Black
still,
don't crack.
Yeah, they still look
Black
good.
don't crack.
Did you close?
I've been on this girl. I've been on this girl.
He go on a lot of dates, but he never closed.
Rampage is closed enough, and it's not worth talking about.
Yeah. You've seen him close?
No, I don't watch a grown man have sex with another woman in my presence. What are you talking about? Hey, good job. Did you use this move?
Yeah, he's not coaching me in the bedroom.
Yeah, hey, Rampage, you need some electrolytes. You look like you're fatiguing a little bit.
Corner man.
Want somebody to give me water?
Like your corner man.
Toweling him down. No, you know what? You got a weird association with how you hear shit and what goes.
Yeah, I was just wondering because you always like to talk about your girls. You always like to talk about.
No, you talk about the girls. Listen, bro, he gets me in
stretch him out beforehand. I don't want you to pull a hammy today. Last time you tried to hit that one, bro, you had a cramp. And, no, it's not like that.
Bro, when this podcast started, I had at least like 5 girlfriends. They all fired me. I'm down to 1.
Oh yeah, because of podcast.
You know what though?
Because of him.
No, it's good for you.
Amen.
No, you don't need 5 girls.
Amen.
Why? Tell me why I don't need 5 girlfriends.
Well, that's
a lot of energy.
5, a lot of energy. 5 times more aggravation. Plus,
I don't play that shit though. I don't play that.
You say that.
I don't do that.
But there is some level of shit that you are playing.
Yeah,
and then within that little bit of playing of shit, it could be tic-tac-toe, it could be Risk. I don't care how deep you're getting with it. Thing is, you spread it across 5. That's gonna add up.
I love this, man.
Have you always been a one woman man? You just date one girl at a time.
And back to the
episode.
Boring. Did not say that. Nor, I have a fiance.
You're engaged.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
One woman.
Congrats.
Oh,
yes.
One.
Yeah.
One. That's singular.
I'm just saying. I'm not telling you. Oh, you said. By the way, I guess definition wise, girlfriend. To me, seems like singular. So, if you had
Rampage has 6 girlfriends,
5 ladies that you perhaps would discuss the goings on and wherewithals of the world, it'd be a little different. But actual girlfriends, that's a certain level of responsibility as well.
No, I see that's different. I see that as when you get married, then you married. But girlfriends, that's practice.
Josh, he has 6 girls.
No, I don't. This podcast.
He only takes off Sundays. It's the Lord's Day. He told me he can only. They
all fired me. He says too much. He says too much of my business on the podcast. Be lying like I be bringing a group of girls here all the time.
I don't believe that either.
Yeah. You don't think he shows up here with a group of girls?
Well, maybe if he goes and hits the malls in Irvine.
No girls.
How you know he do that? How you know
Orange County girls do not fuck with me. They don't
yeah.
so.
Well, when you go to the club with a wolf mask on, that's gonna happen.
That was Halloween.
No, it wasn't.
He's the UC Irvine Slayer.
He said that was Halloween. That's how he went to the bar. He went to a Mexican restaurant on a Tuesday wearing a wolf mask.
It was Halloween.
No, it wasn't. It was just October.
It was Halloween.
You could do it on Thanksgiving for all I care. That sounds good. I'm not gonna kick you out.
Hey, are you wearing a mask to the pro wrestling event in Japan?
No, I won't. I don't think I would do that.
It's called Bloodsport, right?
Yep. Yeah. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport.
I think he's enough of a character as is. Wear his chain, his fight shorts.
I am a werewolf.
Yeah.
But this guy, you said this guy's like 280 pounds. How am I pick him up and slam him?
You tell me. You slammed me. You slammed all kinds of people.
But you wasn't 280 pounds when
No,
I did it,
but I was like, ha, 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 you ain't fucker.
He picked you up and slammed you?
Oh, yeah. He does his little fucking trick, his little rampage bullshit.
Hey, he picked me up and slammed me, too.
He sticks his head in there. He's like, no. Fuck you. And he told me, he goes, what? I'm going to slam you in training. I go, you ain't slamming shit. I'm the one who throws everybody around here. You're not slamming fucking all. He goes, all right. And we're submission wrestling, whatever. And he puts his neck in there. I'm like, I got this. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I had my little trick.
You put your head in and let him choke you, then head up out the
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, and I got another trick. I let people think they're going to knee me in the face.
And catch their leg?
Catch their leg.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio showed up here and Rampage was like, yo, hop in the ring with me. I didn't know what was going to happen. He picked me up, slammed me, broke my, what's this called? Where you
your labia.
My labia.
No, yeah. He tore that labia,
yeah. Tore my labia in half. I was pissed. For a week, I couldn't walk.
Did you
broke your labia?
The minora or majora?
All this majority.
Probably, yeah, the majora. Labia majora.
All of this
sure.
stuff.
Yeah. Did you go to the doctor and tell him about your labia?
Is this when you like the cream of some young guy?
Nah. We're not doing that. That's the most viral clip. You know how much you messed me up with that? You know you messed me up with that, right?
Rampage, that was so good.
Rampage, the whole internet DMs me this clip every day of you and Stipe making fun of me. Cream some young guy. Like, no, bro, I don't want any cream of some young guy.
Did you ever try it, though? Did you ever go try it?
Stop, bro. Yeah, bro. You got no, we're not doing this with, you got Dillashaw and Josh here. I'm not doing any of this.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about hurting your labia.
It's broken in half. What do you want me to do?
Well, I mean, you could try, add a little KY to it or something.
Yeah, I heard KY is really good.
It's got collagen, yeah. Good.
No, I told Gabriel Silva, Anderson's son, he's one of our athletes. I said, yo, rub my labia, help me out. This thing's broken. He said, nah, fam. He walks away. I go,
I don't blame him, yeah.
How many guys have you asked to rub your labia since it started?
No one, just you and that guy.
You never asked me.
Yeah.
Rampage never rubbed a labia in his life.
All right, let's move on. I don't even know what's going on now. You guys are making fun of me. Are you making fun of me?
No. Bear, I would never make fun of you.
All comedy all the time. It's good stuff.
Is a labia the correct term?
Hey, don't text him shit to the
DDP?
No, he just said he wanted to eat the groceries after the show.
Yeah, he said it's all good.
Listen, talk to me about Gordon Ryan.
He is a jiu-jitsu athlete who is trained by John Danaher, and he lives in Austin, Texas, I believe.
What about competing against him?
It's nice when you have time to prepare.
Okay.
It's worse when you don't.
You wrestled him already?
Once, yeah. Quintet,
Robin, right?
On a week and a half's notice. He just shows up. Oh, I'm Team Alpha Males. I'm like,
it was just training though, right?
No, it was in competition. It was in Quintet.
It was Sakuraba's event?
Yeah. Sakuraba and I created Quintet.
Really?
Yes. So it was like, I'm in Japan. I'm doing some press over there. I'm kind of rolling with our team and training, but to be honest, I didn't have anybody high level, straight up jiu-jitsu guys to train with. None of them. And then all of a sudden I was like, Sakuraba doesn't really train like that anymore. And he's at the same time, he's a catch guy. He's not going to use the same kind of techniques and skill sets. And look, I'm 250. Sakuraba's like, I'm not trying to have a bunch of weight on my joints. And he's tough as hell, and he manages to keep himself in great shape still. But part of that is knowing where to put your efforts in terms of training. And then, on a week and a half out, it's like, oh, yeah, now things are all changed up. And this is the guy, Gordon Ryan's in it. It's like, okay, well, whatever. And then, get caught in a triangle and fuck it.
Does Sakuraba, is he still a chain smoker?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Oh, you don't know?
I mean, I don't, when he goes and, why, do you want to know if he smokes Newports or not?
What? Why it got to be Newports? They're not even around no more.
In Japan, they are.
For real?
Oh, the first cigarette I ever smoked was a menthol in Japan. And I was shit-faced. I had just been broken up with from a gal. And I'm over there for my buddy's wedding. And I didn't intend to get wrecked. But another thing that played into it was the groom is Italian. The wife, the bride, is Japanese. Mm. And the dad, the Italian dad, is charisma personified, and he's getting me to drink. And then the Japanese dad comes up to me and he knows who I am from hearing from the bride and the groom and all these people. And I'm Inoki's student and this and that. And so he's like, oh yeah, you're strong. I'm strong too, strong drinker. So now I got to drink with these guys, and they get me destroyed. And now we're at the after party spot, and I'm sitting there with this gal standing at the bathroom waiting to go and use it because I'm feeling worse for wear. And I'm like, oh God, I think I might have to throw up. I don't know what's going on. I'm just kind of leaning on the wall, holding myself up, and I'm chatting with this chick. And she's like, I think I like you a lot better drunk. You're more interesting this way. And I'm like, sure. And I walk, and this guy lights up a cigarette, and I just reach over, snatch it out of his hands, and just start smoking it. smoking this Japanese, because I thought in my drunk as hell head that smoking this cigarette might like pick me up a little bit and not have me like falling. It didn't. It just made me all swirly and shitty. But it was menthol.
Your first
one. I take this drag on this menthol cigarette, and I just turned to her and I go, it's like smoking mountain fresh air.
And this is not the girl you got engaged to.
No.
She dumped you after that.
This one wasn't. I was already dumped. Yeah. But I just remember just this guy just snatching the cigarette right out of his hands. Yeah. I don't know what the hell was possessed with me. I guess it was just alcohol and broken heart. I don't know. I had no fucks to give at that point.
I thought you was a big drink. Don't you collect whiskey or something like that?
I do. I make it. I have a whiskey distillery in Oxnard. I make whiskey, vodka, and rum.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we award-winning. Our vodka won best varietal in the world. Our whiskeys have won tons of gold medals. The first time I put a single barrel product out at the International Spirits Competition in San Francisco, it won gold medal in its category.
Wow. Where do you sell it at?
All over SoCal. We do direct sales, and we have distribution in Washington, Connecticut, Texas, I think.
What's the name of it?
Warbringer Bourbon.
Warbringer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
How'd you get into that?
Got into a conversation with the owner, and I guess they were looking for something to help branch out and create some more buzz. And at the time, I was already trying to getting in contact and having conversations with other distilleries because I wanted to get into the whiskey business, and basically it just was because I was a huge fan, nerd, connoisseur of whiskey. And I wanted to go and try to put something on market just because I love it. I'm really somebody that is, I do collect as well, but I love great spirits. So
you're a functioning alcoholic?
I'm functioning.
Oh my God, dude.
But these guys reached out to me. And so I went up to the distillery. I said, well, before we can decide anything, I got to try it. And they do a mesquite smoke bourbon before I met them this is their basic Warbringer, and I was loving it. It was conceptually, it's like taking an Islay, which would be a Scotch with the heavy peat smoke, but doing it from the perspective as if it was made in Southern California. And so you wouldn't have peat to smoke the grains. What would you use? Well, you'd use mesquite. And then we finish it in a bourbon, we finish it in a sherry cask. And away we go. It's fantastic. And then from there, we released the War Master Edition, which is my single barrel pick that I do. And I don't know exactly what my title is. I know I'm assistant distiller because I've actually worked every job in the distillery that you could do, including running distillation runs and working alongside our former head master distiller, who was a PhD biochemist.
Wow.
And so I worked alongside him and apprenticed under him. So there's bottles out there where either I put the label on, did the malt or did the mash, did the fermentation, did all of it, from start to finish.
Bear, I gotta compete with him. Since you're a billionaire, let's start our own label called Whorebringer. I gotta compete with him.
Yeah, I think, but we have to have the Whorebringer has to be in Japanese katakana.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm not even kidding you. That he just brought that up at Nobu. We were eating dinner, and the guy came up to me and said, "Yo, I'm a big fan of Rampage JAXXON. I know he used to fight in Japan, and they brought us that Japanese whiskey that is like a 2-year-old. Do you remember that?
No."
Bro, what do you mean? Do
you even drink whiskey?
He was drunk with he was drunk with Ric Flair.
I
put this on everything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he brought it over in ice cubes, and it was the first time I ever knew that Japanese whiskey was a thing.
I drink old fashioned. That's why.
Oh, you like old? Now see, cocktail wise, old fashioned is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
I do like them a lot.
He said no. I spent a fortune on you. You said no.
I didn't remember it at first
because you were drunk.
What would the Whorebringer be? What kind of alcohol?
It would be
a sister whiskey to his.
Yeah, it would be a Japanese. We'll use a Japanese whiskey base with a little bit of sherry finished bourbon, and then what we'll do is we'll add some MDMA into it.
Hey, what's the packaging look like?
And some really inventive packaging and
something that women like.
An end cap with like angel wings that they can stand in front of. That'll be Whorebringer.
Listen,
it's the next business model.
Yeah, I know. What they
you have that one for free.
Yeah.
just make sure you give some of that. Put that into Rampage's pockets.
Yeah. Rampage's pockets are filled right now. He's living. One thing I want. What? I can't say that.
I wish I was a billionaire.
Yeah, I do too.
You know what? He wishes he was rich enough that if you put the wrong size tires on his all-wheel drive car, he can pay for the damage, and he doesn't go, "Fuck this, who cares?"
I feel like there's an inside story.
No, it was his Lambo accidentally got the wrong geometry of tires on it, and it was an all-wheel drive, and then he was like, my transaxle's all fucked up.
Yeah, I fucked up my car.
Wait, time out. You got a Lamborghini and you put the wrong tires on it and blew your axle?
Well, I almost blew it. Josh know about cars. What you guys don't know, Josh collect cars, he rebuilds them and all that stuff. He's a gearhead. I just like cars. I don't know a whole lot about them. And I didn't know.
Did you know that Rampage liked cars?
Yeah.
Well, I think it was pretty apparent.
Yeah, we all know you like cars. You have the A-Team, you have the Lambos, you have the Ferraris, you have the Rolls Royces.
I drove his car.
You have 15
his A-Team car. I drove it. I drove it around. The van? Yeah, and I'm like, hey, you're the third member of the rear end in there is making a little bit of noise. You should go get this checked out. It's got a Detroit locker in it. Great for burnouts. I can tell you.
Yeah.
But I go, you should go get it checked out and get it. I think it's probably just needs to be reset up.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want him to be driving around all the time.
Yeah. See, I don't know shit about cars.
So what'd you do to your Lambo?
Yeah, I put somebody else did. They put the wrong fucking rims and tires on there and almost cooked it. It almost cooked it.
The green one?
Yes.
Yeah.
With all-wheel drive vehicles, you have to be careful on what the diameter, the overall size is on, and the ratio between front to rear as well. So there are cars where there is a certain amount of spec that you can get out of between front to rear and be okay, even on all-wheel drive. But generally, you want the tires to be the same size all the way around, or at least the same diameter all the way around.
All I know how to do is put gas in them and drive them. I don't know shit about
You don't
cars.
really know how to drive them.
Do you still have that white body Challenger?
Now, you know what? When I got the Hellcat, I sold it to my friend Lloyd.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I didn't want to because he used to help me take care of my cars, and he loved that car. And I knew he was going to be driving it all the goddamn time. But I regretted it the moment I sold it to him because I sold it to him for $35,000. And he only gave me $15,000 for the motherfucker. I regretted it.
Well, how'd you sell it to him?
Wait, so he owes you money?
He owes me a lot of money.
It's like 10 years later.
Yeah, this motherfucker owed me. I gave him a 69 Nova.
It kind of sounds like this is like a reoccurring problem with you, bro.
Always.
I gave it to him. You know what? I wanted the old Nova, so I went and bought a Nova. And I went to it and I saw it and I loved it and everything. And I was so excited, I didn't check everything out, right? But it was a good car. I had my mechanic friend check it out. And then when I got it delivered to me, I looked at it and stuff. You had to flip. It was a race car.
Okay.
You had to flip all these switches and shit to turn all the shit on. I said, oh man, fuck this. So I gave it to him.
TJ, help me on this one, please. Talk some sense into your boy.
Hold on one second here. 69.
Yeah, he want to sell it now. He wants to sell it now.
Yeah,
well,
I get that.
It's worth a lot of fucking money. Hey,
okay, this is the same number I've had for Rampage for forever. Yeah, I didn't get a call on those. You
got too many cars. How many cars you got right now?
You never have too many cars.
Yeah, exactly.
You never have
right.
How many cars
I need more problems.
How many cars?
Problems always.
I bet you got like at least 20. You got at least 20.
No, I don't have 20 cars.
10?
No, not. I try not to have more than I can drive if I can help it, but that also includes projects. So I have a 69. Well, right now I have a 75 Formula Firebird that is.
Oh, wow.
Had it for a while and I had it done at one point, but it needed paint and body still. So eventually I was just like, now's the time. I'm changing it over to manual transmission using a Silver Star TKX setup. So it'll be
sick.
It'll be running a Tremec manual. It has an automatic with a 204R, so I have overdrive. This is going to be just so much more fun. And I put a 455 in it. I had a 400, but it was low compression, wasn't anything special. So I pulled that, built this 455, put aluminum heads on it. It made 500 at the crank, and it was fun. But I just decided, well, if I'm doing all this paint and body work on it, getting it all straightened out, then I might as well pull the motor. Had the heads completely gone through and ported, had the intake gone through and ported, putting a bigger cam in it, bigger headers to go with the bigger cam and all the bigger lift and more airflow. So we'll see. My goal with this motor now is to make over 600 pound-feet of torque. If it does, 600 horse, amazing, not necessary though. And it's just going to be fun. It's got a 9-inch Ford, a Curry 9-inch in there.
I got a 9-inch too. I got something coming.
But yeah, I mean, and Hotchkiss did all the suspension on it.
I got excited. He got that one joke. One joke woke him up.
No, bro, I like this. Me and Rampage have been talking about cars because Rampage got his son an amazing car for Christmas, sickest car, and then that inspired me. Good dad, actually, by the way.
Fiat 500?
No, I got
him a car that I always wanted. It was like a what was it? A 90-something Impala. You know the
super sick.
Oh, the 96
SS. Yeah,
yes, okay.
So sick. It's all like
my oldest. Remember my oldest son, D'Angelo? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then inspired
Is it that
me.
all black one?
No. This one is what was it? Maroon?
Yeah, it was like clean though. It was like super. It's low. It sits nice. It was all like it's all working. And those cars are so finicky that you gotta have it like kind of like not rebuilt, but like tuned up and looked after before you.
I brought all my kids. I brought all my kids cars, and my oldest son, his car had broke down on him because he's very independent. Mm-hmm. He didn't never want me to buy him a car, but his car broke down, so he was using his grandmother's car. And I got all my kids' cars, and I was saving this car for myself. This is a car that I always wanted. And I got a Jeep for him. I got like one of those Hemi Jeeps, and it's not ready. It was take a long time, so I just gave him the car that I actually got for myself for Christmas.
Now, what about the Jeep?
It's still in my warehouse. I got but I just got to fix. I was going to use the motor for something else.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking about putting the motor. I got this like 68 Caddy. I was going to try to put the motor in there, but they said the Caddy too old to fit that new motor. That's what they told me.
68 Caddy? You could make it work if you wanted to do the fabrication on it. It could be done.
Yeah, totally. But they say like the computer and all that stuff is just...
Well, yeah, you just have to port all that over. I mean, because the engine itself runs off of fuel injection. It's got a whole computer to run all of its spark and timing and all that kind of stuff. You just transfer the whole thing over. But that's what makes it so much more reliable is that you now have this computer-controlled setup. You've got better combustion chambers, you've got spark plugs closer, deeper into you've got direct injection potentially. You got all the good shit that you get with these modern cars, which increases horsepower and torque, reliability, and gas mileage. So, although technically I could have went for an LS and put that in my Firebird, but I want to go old school. That's why I found a donor 455, bought it off of some guy for $400. Put that on the back of
you rebuilt. You had to rebuild it, though.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but I rebuilt it the way I wanted it to. So I opened it up bored at 60 over. It's 470 cubic inches now.
You want to say
but all
didn't you put an LS in yours?
In my 6.9 Lincoln, I did.
Yeah,
sure. Why didn't you put a 4.6 liter, 5 liter Ford in it?
I told you to put I told you.
The people who have advised me on stuff, they said like LS crate motor would be.
It's super cheap. Yeah, I got it. But
easy.
But that's a Chevy.
TikTok advise you?
No. I have a mechanic that does my shit for me.
I told you to put exactly what he told you in your Lincoln.
Yeah. Don't you have did you have a Road Runner?
No.
Oh, I thought you had. What you got? A Challenger? What you got? Like a 69 Challenger?
I had a 2009 Challenger. I used to drive all the time. SRT8 car.
Oh yeah,
speed.
I think I remember.
It was tough to find one that didn't have a sunroof, because the sunroof would drop down and touch the top of my head.
Too big.
So crammed.
Too big.
So yeah, and I ended up finding one that was a drag pack car. So it had 391 gears in the back or 392 gears. It was Hemi orange, which was a 1 year only. 6-speed manual, which I think it was that T6060.
Did you blow a tranny in that car?
I did not.
You a menace.
I did not.
You a menace.
I haven't blown any trannies in any of my cars.
Rampage blew a tranny in his last car. Yeah, you did.
Never.
You called me, said, yo, I blew a tranny in my car. I said, no worry, we'll get that all tuned up. Listen, talk to me about Pride and Crow Cop 3 times. I want to know, was he a hard puzzle to figure out?
The hardest puzzle about it, I mean, at any given point towards the top of his career, he was top of the food chain, going to be a tough fight for anyone, just about, unless you're Kevin Randleman. But I mean, it'd be something to see him repeat it, right?
Yeah, he did. He got the rematch.
Yeah.
I would have never rematched him if I was Kevin.
Nah, I wouldn't have either. But you know what? The money was probably just too good.
They probably offered him double or whatever.
Yeah. But I never got to face him 100% healthy. That was the toughest thing about fighting him is that the first time, dislocate my shoulder. I ended up tearing my labrum in training camp and didn't know that it was that bad.
Oh, wow.
I thought I was just tweaking my shoulder. And then on the takedown, managed to get that external rotation, poop, just popped right out. And I was like, what the hell? Then the rematch, I just came back too soon. So it's one thing to heal up whatever your injury is, another thing to get your body ready to go out there and fight at the highest level. And that was just way too soon, way too eager
after
to
the
just
shoulder
get
surgery.
Yeah.
How soon after shoulder surgery?
8 months probably.
Damn. Yeah, that's way too soon.
Yeah, but I was, sitting around, had to get
even not
the scar tissue re-broke in there.
Tightened
so I had
too
to,
much.
yeah. Well, I was doing my exercise and all this, but it's still tightened up. So what I had to do was go under anesthesia and have it manipulated. And then, went right into a training camp, and not the best camp ever, but, got through it all right, but just wasn't really ready to be in the ring with him. And that one went to a decision, but it was just, it was not a great fight. I broke his nose, but not enough.
Do you guys realize that us as fighters, we do stuff that other pro athletes don't do? Like they will never go and play a game injured as we go out there and fight.
No.
Well, they will, but they'll also have an entire team.
Maybe football players
and help them out.
Yeah, I think they take those cortisone shots. Or
A variety of things, but I mean, they'll have trainers that will look after your injuries, ice you down, massage. Because you're an investment, and while the fighters are too, but we're independent in what we do. We're not under the auspice of like the Detroit Lions. Or
you heard a big word you use, auspice. Did you catch that?
The hospitality of the event organizer in the league. Yes.
Oh, you did catch it.
Oh, yes.
All right, finish. I'm sorry.
And so we don't have that kind of a structure and how it's all our contracts are negotiated directly with the promoters. You could argue that the promoter should see us as an investment in the same way, and to some degree, I think the UFC does treat it that way. Having Victor Henry in there and seeing what they did for all the fighters during COVID to figure out a way to run it, and how they were running all these testing sites and all this kind of stuff. I mean, they were on top of it to try and make it so that these fighters could go out there and compete. And then with the help from the weight cutting and the PI and all this stuff, I mean, you get there on fight week, they're like, okay, what's your weight? What you've been doing? This and this and that. Okay, boom, here's your meals. You don't have to. The UFC.
PI.
The
Wait, the UFC
PI.
gives you your meals now?
If you want it.
If you want it.
What you mean give you your meals?
So like you show
Meal
up,
prep?
You tell them how much weight you're cutting, like what are the calories you're eating, what your macros need to be, and then they got a kitchen that'll make it all for you.
What, the week of the fight?
Yeah.
Only the week of the fight, not the whole training camp.
I mean, if you live out in Vegas and train at PI, you eat for free the whole time.
No way.
You could take advantage of whatever the PI has to offer by being there. If you're there, and you can go ahead and go in and do all that.
Is this since they sold to the same people, WWE or whatever?
WME.
WME?
I think even before that.
Yeah.
So
as soon as they had the PI, they started doing it.
So the UFC PI in Vegas provides, what do they provide? Rehab, recovery,
strength and
food?
conditioning, PT, nutrition,
physical tests.
Are you going to feed me my whole time in Japan?
Oh, I'll feed you.
No, I'm not taking that. No, I don't like
if you're gagging,
my God. Oh my God. You and Bear going to be best
Where
friends
made you gagging?
Hell no.
Yeah. Oh, so you did without gagging.
Oh, God damn.
Rampage and some of the different types of foods that they eat in Japan, he's a little sensitive to.
Yeah,
he is very picky, dude.
Yeah.
He is picky.
He is very picky.
Pickiest guy. He'd be yelling at me.
I'll feed you.
No, never mind.
No, I can't wait to. Hey, just film it though.
I'm sorry.
Film it. We can make a fortune with that clip.
But no, I mean,
What?
so the UFC.
You guys eating Japanese food like mukbangs? What do you mean?
Hey, why don't you come meet me out? Come meet me
That's
out there.
Korean.
You don't want to see me in Japan.
Bro.
I'm a Roppongi nightmare.
When is
I'm
it?
gonna be out there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You think you're a Roppongi nightmare?
Yes. You put me in Shibuya, I'll tear down the city.
I had no
In
idea.
Shibuya. Why Shibuya? Where are you
Yes,
going?
I used to go to
Osaka?
all 12 districts. I used to be in the machine district with
Hey,
the
you
anime.
know what? Shibuya is the
Machine
pride
district? Oh, you mean the Akihabara Electric City?
Yeah, the
Shibuya,
robots.
you don't know what you're talking about. Shibuya is the gay town.
No,
You
it's
just-
not.
Yeah, dude. You just told off on yourself.
Is it really?
Well, I mean, we're not here to judge.
Well, Luke told me that's
it's
where
pride,
he
man.
always goes. That's why I said that city. I've never
you
been
just
there.
told off on yourself.
Yeah,
No,
Luke
like,
Rockhold said that's where he likes to hang
I
out.
hang out in Roppongi. I don't hang out.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
When is the?
yeah, the Nigerians love him.
Yeah, because I'm mixed with Nigerian.
Wait, what does that mean?
Yeah, I'm Nigerian.
When is this match?
I am.
Hey, what's up? Hey, my name is Bobby. Your name's not Bobby. What's your actual name? No, it's Bobby. No, it's not. Come on, what's your actual name? Oh,
Motherfucker.
Akumwale. You're like, okay, all right, Akumwale. No, I'm not going to go to your fucking bar.
Oh, yeah,
Bye.
that's annoying.
Fuck off.
The event is on the 22nd.
Of
June.
This month.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, at Ryogoku Kokugi-Con Sumo Hall.
Sweet.
Yeah, come out there. The 20th is my birthday, so
That's right. We're gonna be having a good old time celebrating Rampage's birthday.
Yeah. I'm going.
I wish I could go.
Yeah,
How old are you gonna be this year?
46.
No way, man. You're young.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna be 54.
No, how old are you now?
46.
Oh shit.
Damn,
Still young.
46.
But how come you got all that gray? You didn't have the babyface assassin.
No, fuck, man. That has been so long ago. Yeah, scars and gray.
Why bring it up?
No, it's for real. No, I'm all right with it. I'm okay with it.
You have the nice patch of this.
Well, I just figure that I'll leave all the dyeing of the beard and all that kind of stuff to Rampage. You know?
Oh,
I do. I do it. I don't like to look at myself.
You don't want to look all grizzled and with gray hair.
Yeah.
And just
I still feel like I want to be young forever.
Everybody want to talk about, I want some girl calling me daddy. I want them to call me grandpa.
oh my!
I want him to be that uncle that they want to forget.
You never dyed your beard.
No, some of us are.
I gave up on it.
When this go all white, you're gonna look like Santa Claus.
You know what? I'll give you a present, all right.
Yes. I like that. Finally, someone can put him in his place.
What place is that? What place should Rampage be in?
Roppongi do Yoko. It's the bar you sent to me on TikTok.
What?
I think
Yoko.
Yeah, you sent it to me.
Rampage is more of a Wall Street guy.
No. He sent it to me. It's in Roppongi. It's called Kiongo.
And
in
Matrix.
Roppongi.
I go to Matrix about a little small. Yeah, but Wall Street is good.
And there's
I'll pull it up and I have a photo of Rampage walking into it.
I used to go to New Lex. That was my place.
Oh yeah,
Lexington Queen.
Yeah.
My buddy, he still runs a bar out in Roppongi, and my other buddies, they got this spot, Jazz Bar London. So you go downstairs, it's up at the corner, and it's jazz. You can get actual European absinthe if you want it. You can smoke Cuban cigars.
I've never been
wow,
there.
where's that
Kind
at?
of place. Roppongi. But it's a
I gotta
it's a
show
chill
you around
spot.
Japan. Me and him go show you around.
I never been to that one.
No, really?
Well, don't worry, we're gonna have fun.
All right.
Listen, in terms of catch wrestling, we asked the JAXXON Podcast Discord what they wanted to know. And a lot of people were asking, what is the relationship in modern day MMA between wrestling, MMA, jiu-jitsu, modern day grappling? There's so many terms being thrown around. Mm-hmm. And then obviously you have catch wrestling too. How do you look at it? Like, what is it? What's the combination of it that we see in today's time?
Well, I think even when it comes to what you might even consider like the submission grappling aspect of MMA, it's very much looking like catch these days. For a little bit of background, folk style, aka collegiate wrestling, is catch as catch can, where the term comes from in Lancashire, which meaning like get it any way you can, which means submission holds, pins, all this. But they would wrestle on the ground, whereas a lot of traditional wrestling styles, as soon as it gets to the floor or as soon as someone's back hits the mat from a throw, then it's over. But with the Lancashire grappling, they would keep going on the ground. Well, eventually, this becomes the prototype of what professional wrestling is. And these were all 100% real matches all over the world. And eventually, it ends up, of course, in America. And there's lots of American champions like Frank Gotch and Joe Stecker and all these other catch wrestling giants that would become very famous wrestlers. But this eventually turns into folk style. So if you read the rules of a folk style booklet, and you can go back through the years and read how they've changed the nomenclature and such, there'll be terms in there like no chanceries. What that they mean is they mean directly on the neck without an arm. Or no wrist locks. They mean double wrist lock and top wrist lock. So they're using all these old terms from catch because folk style wrestling is catch wrestling. So the wrestling on the floor, and the submission, they've just removed the submission aspect of wrestling out of what we now call folk style wrestling. And catch was even in the Olympics at one point for like a couple of them. And with my background, my lineage comes from this old catch and shoot wrestling background that was from Japan, from guys like Billy Robinson and Carl Gotch teaching the Japanese over there, people like who would become Sakuraba and Minoru Suzuki and Masakatsu Funaki and a whole bunch of people, Sakuraba guys on this card. Well, that's where I get my training from as well. This is where my history comes from and where I was developed. But you see tons of this stuff now showing up in jiu-jitsu competitions. You see it showing up in the UFC and MMA. Nobody's playing guard on their back anymore. It's not really effective unless there's such a technique and skill difference that the guy who's playing jiu-jitsu off his back can just peel this guy apart. But at the highest levels, you really can't get away with that kind of stuff anymore, especially with only 5 minutes. So what happens when someone gets taken down? They hand fight, they sit out, they hit stand-ups. Where do that's not jiu-jitsu. That's not what they do. This is all wrestling. And from that, catch wrestling would do similar. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and wrestle on my back, even if I have the capability to do it. I'm going to hand fight. I'm going to work up. I'm going to scramble. I'm going to get in on the leg. I'm going to go after it. But I also have the knowledge and the integration of all the submission elements as well. Plus, with catch, I came up with the term doing an interview for a Japanese magazine over there. And they're like, okay, describe the difference between jiu-jitsu and catch wrestling. And I just said, jiu-jitsu is the gentle art, catch wrestling is the violent art. And that stuck. And part of that's because we never had any limitation on what submissions we could use. Neck locks and face locks and all types of leg locks and all this different stuff that was like not trained and considered and was really considered poor taste in jiu-jitsu, right? Like you can't be cross-facing somebody in jiu-jitsu, they'd get pissed at you. And if you go on their legs, even if it was legal, they'd be like, oh, that's cheap shit, that's bullshit. But now leg locks are embedded into everything now, including Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And same with cross-facing to a degree and some of this stuff. And so it's all just been adapted into it. The only issue is people don't know where this shit's coming from. And they like to say, oh, well, this guy is developing this new jiu-jitsu. It's like, that's not new jiu-jitsu. This is the old as fuck. Go learn, go open a history book. And, even telling people that when the foundation of Brazilian jiu-jitsu owes its existence to catch as catch can in pro wrestling, because the eldest Gracie patriarch had a circus. And in that circus, in addition to other events and attractions, he had pro wrestling. And so Mitsuo Maeda came to Japan, to Brazil, to do pro wrestling down there in this Gracie's circus. And he went by the name Count Koma. Conde Koma, Count Koma. It's a pro wrestling name. And he worked professional wrestling matches, and he trained catch, he trained judo, old school jiu-jitsu, and then stayed and then taught the family members.
Helio? He taught Helio?
No, older than them. But even then, there's a famous Gracie, George Gracie. He was a catch wrestler as well. And he was one of the guys that would have to step up against some of these other family challenges. So if somebody might beat one of the guys, George would be one of the dudes they'd call to go get even with him. Really? Like Carlos or Carlson. So, and even then I'll say, and by the way, go compare what you do in IBJJF to, let's say, the Fada or even the Gracie lineage back in the beginning. How do you think that they competed or attacked? Like, where was their wrestling strategy? Every single Gracie, except for, and even Helio would do this to a degree, but he developed a different game because of his physicality or lack thereof. But essentially, all those Gracies were throw you on the ground, pin you, submit you. And then, of course, the rule sets of IBJJF start gaming people towards these other strategies, towards winning these matches and these different concepts. Like, I think it was the meows you had that were all doing this 50-50 stuff, and they're just getting these little advantages and sweeps, and they're winning that way. And it's not to say like these guys are not really good submission grapplers too. It's just that they're going out there trying to compete and win within the narrowest of margins, because that's how tight it can be sometimes. But that isn't necessarily all there is to jiu-jitsu. And yet, when you get to MMA and it's a different rule set, a different game starts developing.
But he didn't just say that the Gracies before jiu-jitsu, they were circus clowns. He didn't say that.
No, I did not say that.
No,
but he did bring up a point of how, like,
he's such a dick.
What? After all that, a beautiful breakdown, so simplistic, you got out of that
circus.
Rampage, you ain't lost a step.
Yeah, you one of a kind. I gotta give it to you.
But he said they was in a circus though, didn't he?
They owned a circus. Yeah, I always forget the name of the Gracie that owned the circus, but yeah,
I'm sorry.
And they were Scottish immigrants as well to begin with.
Oh damn, I didn't know.
They got mesmerized by that booty.
Wait, the Gracies came from Scotland?
Yeah,
they're not really Brazilian.
Well, they are, but their original lineage were Scots.
Oh,
wow. They immigrated to Brazil.
Wow,
that's where all the.
You brought up within that, talking about the evolution of just MMA and how you don't see like jiu-jitsu, you see more of the catch wrestling with it now. You had 2 different stints within the UFC. Did you see a big difference within those? Like, did you see the difference between your first and your second stint?
Oh yeah, big time.
Because you had a big gap in between there, and so you saw the evolution through there. And like, what was the difference for you from the first to second?
Well, for one, by the second go around with the UFC, different kind of company, the amount of eyeballs and the pay, everything was completely changed. You know, this was all post The Ultimate Fighter, and when I left the UFC originally, Pride was the place to be. That was the biggest show, and it's arguably the biggest MMA shows are still Pride. Like nobody's surpassed that yet. But then I went to Strikeforce, Affliction, and Sengoku. You know, I wanted to do my thing my way, but eventually it led me back to the UFC. And you know, the striking element, it's like kickboxing with some wrestling has kind of become the thing. But if you can't take them out with your hands, then you steal the round by getting a takedown. If you get a guy to the floor, you don't really pass. You just kind of ground and pound and solidify a position. And then if you don't take him, that's all right. You still got a 10-9. And I'm like, you know, I came from fighting in Pride where it's like, oh, and there ain't no 10-9s. There's no first round. And if you're just hanging out, action. Here's a yellow card. Here's 10% of your pay.
I like that.
You know?
Yeah, I like that. And I also like the 10-minute round that Pride had too. Like that's. I mean,
well, think about it. Think about all these fights you've had. Fights you've won, fights you've lost, everything in between. How do you think those fights would have been different, and how do you see how much of a change you would have approached it in a different way if you had 10 minutes to work in that first round?
I would have loved a 10-minute round.
I think it's the best. I think it's the way to go. And I think these athletes are so well conditioned now, and everybody is so keyed in on how to win that 5-minute round. It's a necessity if you really want to pick the sport up and make it
more finishing.
Yes. And the thing is, you know, people, oh, it's exciting. It's like, you have no idea how much more exciting it could be if creating an even larger dynamic environment here. And it's not to say like 5 minutes was a bad idea. I'm just saying that we've exceeded that with the level of athletes that we have today.
Why do you think Risen don't just do a 10-minute round?
You know, that's interesting. And I don't know why that is, even though they will have the rules and all this. One thing I can say is that the influence of the UFC being the biggest dog in this whole, you know, kennel of MMA, it's influenced a ton in Japan. Whereas Pancrase, and I love Fukuisan, but I've told him, get rid of the unified rules. I don't like them. Get rid of 10-9, 10 round, get rid of the 10-point must scoring. But there's this influence of that UFC being the mark to make, that they now want to adjust to that for greater legitimacy potentially, and possibly to help their athletes when if they go and fight in the UFC. And to me, I'm just like, it's so much better doing it. You guys have the freedom here to do it any way you want to, and the ABC isn't breathing down your neck. And you're never going to be able to compete with the UFC at this point, so make yourself different. Do that 10-minute round. Show that they can be more exciting. Exactly. You know? I agree. You know, I took Victor Henry, and people are always like, oh, man, you know, how come you weren't in the UFC? It's like, because we weren't over fighting in Ryzen. We were fighting for titles all around the world and doing all this stuff. And honestly, we're just sitting back, and our conversations with Vic were this. It's like, look, man, if you want me to put you in the UFC, I'll put you in the UFC right away. Easy. However, there's a difference between where you start in the UFC and where you finish. And this isn't just about your record. This is also about, if you come in at the bare bones and if you think you're going to get to some real decent money here, you're not. You're going to be grinding, fighting all the toughest, hardest matches you can think of. Sometimes easy ones, sometimes hard ones, sometimes impossible ones, who knows, all of this in between. And even as you're starting to win, generally when that renegotiation contract comes in, they're going to be starting from that low number and just bumping you a bit. Bro, you're the deep bantamweight champion. You're undefeated in Ryzen. You fought for the King of Pancrase title. You've defeated guys, flown over to Russia and whooped guys in their own country. Like, your record is better than most of the entire rosters, except for like guys up in that top 15. I could do that, but I think you're selling yourself short. And there's plenty of people that fight in the UFC, but do you want to be someone that was a known name and possibly a contender or a champion in the UFC, or you just want to be somebody that had a few fights in the UFC? And that's a big difference. And so he trusted me. And then when the time came, there was an opportunity for us to get in there. I spoke to them right off the bat. I go, well, look, we make this. If we're not touching anywhere around this, it's not important to us. And we're never doing contender series. It's never going to happen. I don't care how many Eastern European killers you can get to show up for $5. It ain't going to be us. And to be fair, they're like, yep, no, we get it. We totally understand. So, all right, if we have something that we feel like we can be happy about, then good. And sure enough, we did. And then when it came time to renegotiate his deal, again, it was a great negotiation process. Everything was, but the thing is, it's like I go back to Vic, and if I was to bring it up to him again, I go, remember where we started and where are we at now? And that would not have been possible, no matter with these victories, if you didn't get in there under the right circumstances. And that's not to say that the UFC are sitting back and just being like diabolical. It's just the way it is. It's not just them, it would be anybody. Mm-hmm. And having somebody, one, trusting in the process, and also having that trust in that, okay, this is the way the landscape is for you. You can't be so concerned about this guy and that guy and these people. They're all under different circumstances. A great example I like to give is the Gina Carano puzzle, and that is this. Gina Carano shows up. They make the weight class 140, so it's easier for her to make. They say that's supposedly the rumor on it, which fine by me. Fuck it, I don't care. Like they knew that they were going to invest in her, and they did. Oh, this girl, I could beat her. I can beat Gina Carano. Fuck Gina Carano. It should be me. And it's like, hold on. They're paying for her because she's her, not because she's the best. Mm-hmm. And she was tough and would fight anybody and bite down that mouthpiece and let him go. But I go, look, if you go out there and you beat Gina Carano, you're not now getting her pay. You're not getting her fan base. You don't, all of it. They're not going to kick her out of American Gladiators at the time and give you her spot. It's like Steven Soderbergh's not going to be like, oh no, you should be in my movie. None of it doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. What you should be doing is, if you really were appreciative, you should give Gina Carano some money. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I go, because Gina Carano made it so that someone would go, you know what? Maybe another girl MMA fighter would be good to put in a movie. Maybe another female MMA fighter would be good to put in American Gladiators. Maybe we could build it. That exists because they bought into her. So now you have a chance. And who knows? You do it right, you might make 10 times the money she ever did. But nobody thinks about it that way. Yeah. A lot of these fighters, they get in there and they're just like, no, man, why is he making that money? That should be my money. I never get mad about if somebody got a better deal than me, then it's like, well, I have to figure out a way so that I can get that better deal. I can't be sitting back pissed off because somebody, for whatever reason, either was somebody's favorite, so they hooked him up, or it was just the right timing. If anything, it's like Conor McGregor. Oh, I could beat Conor McGregor. Like, great. Do you have an entire country that's going to get behind you like Conor McGregor did? And are you going to have somebody get involved with a whiskey company and do this? And by the way, here's the best thing about Conor McGregor. He went and fought to go and be able to do that boxing match. So he changed the landscape of contractual negotiations and matters, which is now a potential that you could exploit if you do it the right way. So don't be hung up on what other people got. Be thinking more about the long-term opportunity that could exist. And perhaps your day will come and it'll be bigger and greater than what any of these other people had ever considered.
100%. I mean, you obviously have a wisdom and experience far more than most UFC fighters and MMA fighters in whole. I mean, your first UFC stint, you were gone for 11 years. Strikeforce came back when UFC absorbed that contract. What would you say was your most celebrated victory? What victory really, out of all of the organizations you fought in, was really the best one for you?
It wasn't that it was the most harrowing fight, but winning the King of Pancrase title was the one that stood out the most. Because it came out it was just on a whim. So I'm in New Japan and I go, hey, so we created this fighting section that we would do on some of these big events called Ultimate Crush, where I sat down, I created the rules, I helped with some of the matchmaking, and we had, I think, did we have elbows? I think we might not have had elbows.
I don't think they did elbows in Japan back in the day.
Well, they were always concerned about cuts
to the face
with elbows. That was the thing. But we had soccer kicks and all that, and it was I think it was 5-minute rounds. judged as a total fight. I even sourced the gloves, all this kind of stuff. So we had a full deal put together there for New Japan. And I'm sitting back and I go, I beat the guy who was the reigning king of pancrase in Japan or in the UFC, Sem Schilt. Well, I'd like a shot at that title again. I've already beaten whoever the title holder was, and he was the title holder when I fought him. So that's a good enough argument, see what pancreas says. And all of a sudden we actually get into negotiations and we put something together and it's like, oh fuck, yeah, I'm going to fight for the king of pancreas title. And for me, one, the history of pancreas itself and how so much of what my lineage comes from is attached to that, but also even more directly, Matt Hume, my first big MMA coach, he fought in the original King of Pancrase tournament way back when in 1993. He lost in the first or second round to Minoru Suzuki by decision, I think. Then 10 years later, I come back around, his student, and now I'm fighting for the title on the 10th anniversary show against Yuki Kondo, multiple King of Pancrase champion, and I beat him. I'm there with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Ensign Inoue is in my corner. And Manabu Nakanishi, an Olympic freestyle wrestler in New Japan, and I got the whole New Japan. I bring my New Japan flag to the ring. I win the title. It's like this big culmination of me embedding myself into Japan and solidifying my journey there. And it was a huge moment. I'm there representing professional wrestling as a legitimate fighting art and combat sport, which is essentially the foundation for all this fucking MMA we're doing now. I'm doing it in this organization that my original coach was in. I'm doing all this stuff, and it's all meeting all at this one point. And being able to say that I am one of 10 guys to ever hold this open weight belt, which includes people like Minoru Suzuki, Ken Shamrock, Masakatsu Funaki, Boss Rutan. Yeah, so I'm in that club.
Wow.
That's an incredible club to be in.
Yeah.
I've
been in clubs with Rampage, and those
gay bars.
Those can be pretty incredible too.
That's what you do in the game. Yeah, that's what you do.
If I'm molding some titties.
How you motivate titties?
He just turns into a full-on Harley Davidson.
Yeah, think about we talking about motorboats and titties. I saw you got two hot Japanese chicks on that card.
I mean, you go ahead and give them a chat.
They look hard from the picture.
They're gonna mess you up.
Rampage likes it rough. That's what he told the girls.
Give you an RKO to your balls.
Hey, is it frowned upon if I try to smash one or both of them?
I mean, you're usually frowned upon in general.
HR.
But I don't know. I mean,
that's it.
Okay, here's this. One of them, Konami. She wrestles in Stardom at the moment, or she might be freelance. But she was trained by, remember Megumi Fuji, my student?
Fuji?
Megumi Fuji. The little Japanese girl was just tearing people up and breaking their legs and went undefeated, like 24-0 before she ever even lost a professional fight, and used to come over here in the States and be barely 118 pounds and fight 125-pound girls and wreck them.
Yeah, I do remember that.
So she trained Konami. And then the other girl has a karate black belt and some other stuff. So, I mean.
Hey, I ain't scared of that. I shared this before. My first time having a threesome was with two judo chicks in Japan.
Were you tripping or did they trip you?
They tripped me.
Got him in an arm bar.
Oh, yeah. One of them put me in the dick bar.
Broke it. He said, Mate.
Why?
Bro,
why you gotta go there?
Bro, you know me. I just be saying shit.
Do you still have a crush on Ronda Rousey?
Hell no. Listen, Ronda Rousey is not my type. With all due respect.
You told me that.
No, don't lie.
I thought you said because judo girls was your first thing.
Real talk. Real talk. With all due respect, she is not my type.
What's your type then? Not
Ronda Rousey. I'd never thought she was attractive. Whenever somebody thought she was hot, like,
Ronda Rousey was Korean.
Yeah.
Then he'd be like,
Hey, Gina Carrera. Now, Gina Carrera. You talk about Gina Carrera.
Gina Carrera? Like Porsche Carrera?
That's how you say her last name.
Carano.
Gina Carano. She
Carano. Where you get that
shit on purpose?
Yeah, what's your...
She's hot. She's my type.
Who do you think the hottest MMA fighter, female fighter, is that you like?
Probably Gina Carreras.
Gina Coriolanus.
Yeah, she's pretty hot. She's right. Who do you think it is?
For you?
No.
You said it before.
No. You. Who you think the hottest female fighter is? With you, I have to say female fighter.
Don't start. Who do you think, TJ?
No. It's you. It's a.
You can't pass it off. You can't pass the buck.
I would say.
Don't say Cyborg because I know you got a crush on her. I heard you talking about her.
I'd probably have to say Halle Berry as Catwoman.
That's not.
Come on.
No,
what do you mean?
She's not.
That is not an MMA fighter.
MMA fighter. The hottest female MMA fighter.
Like has to be currently in the MMA.
No, he didn't say that.
No.
Yeah, she did MMA.
No, she didn't.
In a movie. That's
do you mean?
a real fight.
I don't know. I would have to think about it.
Paige Van Sant.
No, I'd have to think.
Why'd you look at me first? If you want to say, PVZ, that's your choice.
She's not bad. She's
a decent looking gal. Yeah, of course. She's a pretty girl.
You
Good
smashed,
for her.
didn't you?
No.
Oh.
Wait, what?
I'm a complimentary person. If somebody's, she's good looking gal, good for her.
China and WWF. You liked her?
No, she wasn't my
She was
type.
cool as shit,
Yes,
though.
it was. You told me when DDP was here, you said that was the girl you always wanted to hang out with.
No.
Oh, hang out with. I mean, she's fun. She was
Yeah.
cool. Rest in peace, Joni. She was great. She was an absolute
She
sweetheart.
was a legend.
Yeah, I knew her well.
Too, then.
No.
Why
I
do
got
you think-
smashed by her, though.
You smashed China?
No, I got smashed by China.
You down with the pegging and stuff? What the fuck, man?
Damn.
Where I'm at this car show in Orange County. And I was there. I had one of my cars there, my Mustang. And there was this bikini competition thing. It wasn't Hawaiian Tropics, but it was for like a decent company because what they were going to do is they're going to have this bikini competition and the people would judge it. And then the like certain amount of winners would then be up to actually potentially like what they would do with Hawaiian Tropics. You could be part of their like team and fly you to appearances and
get a calendar,
all that kind of stuff, right?
Love it.
So I got asked to be a part of this judging thing, and I was like, "Well, if you must." And I'm there, and I see Joni's jumped in on this thing, and I'm like, "Holy shit, what are you doing here?" I mean, she was not as big as she had been. She was a bodybuilder, so she could adjust like how big, how much muscle she had on her. TV. Oh, I mean, she was like a good 5'10". I mean, she was a good sized gal, and very strong, very fit. And she goes, "Hey, will you help me out? Will you do like a little skit with me for like this little portion?" Like, yeah. What do you want to do? Like, we'll do like a little like shit talk and whatever, and will you sell this move for me? I was like, done. So she like calls me out from the judging area, and I come over and we start jibber jabbering, and I don't know how, and then she whacks me with a clothesline. I just take it on this stage.
Not like a spring stage.
No. And it didn't hurt or nothing, but yeah, that was Joni Lore, China, smashing me at a bikini competition.
Oh, really? Seems like a nice chick. Huh?
She was great. She was cool. And one of the last memories I had was me, my boy Hammer, who's on the card, and a whole bunch of us all doing karaoke out there in Japan. And yeah, she was a great gal. She was really cool.
She was a great entertainer.
Yeah. She was really sweet.
You had a crush. You had a crush on her, didn't you?
Who, China?
Yeah.
I think everybody did.
He just wanted to have her just.
Hey, you like women to dominate.
You guys are about to do some crazy stuff.
No,
I want women to dominate.
You like
he be putting out all the things he really likes. He likes to ask people so he doesn't feel bad because he wants to know people like what he likes.
No, because you couldn't pick a girl in MMA.
No, he could, and he looked at me. He's like,
yeah.
Yeah, I can't say names
this
because
one?
we're in an MMA podcast. God forbid I don't say the right name. People aren't going to come on the show.
It's an opinion. Like, listen, I said name, Gina Carreras.
Okay, do you remember when you told me that one of your favorite moves is having girls put on your old UFC championship belt and tying you to the bed? Do you remember that? And I always used to think about, that's crazy that Rampage likes when a girl
the tie him to the bed part, I don't.
Yeah, Rampage likes like to be dominated by a girl. So he would let a girl tie him to the bed, and he would tell a girl, yo, put on my belt and then slam me like I slammed Ricardo Arona. And I'm like, bro, that's
what
crazy.
What girl I'm gonna fuck with gonna be big enough to
That's what I always wondered. like, what size girl?
Yeah.
Right? I always wondered, what size is your girl to be able to do that?
You gotta say it like Donald Trump, China.
China. Yeah. No, it's good luck with that. Yeah.
Right,
you had us until you said slam me like Ricardo Arona.
Last on the list, one thing I want to know is about, as we wrap this up, first of all, I want to say thank you for coming on here. Yeah. Take care of Rampage in Japan. We can't lose our co-host.
Oh, no, he'll come back.
He's been stressing out all week. He's talking about his knees and his
I believe
neck.
that.
I haven't fought in 4 years, man.
Just go easy over there. We need you to come back healthy.
Man, I didn't know my opponent was 280 pounds. I think you set me up.
The funny thing is, here's the setup.
Don't let him get hurt.
Here's a highlight reel of what we do. Here's an explanation. Here's the picture of the opponent. Here's his name. Rampage, of course. I'm not looking at all this.
He's all right. I didn't look at
he's basically like, his whole thing is like, I ain't reading that shit. Sorry that happened to you, or I'm happy. Congratulations. Yeah, that's Rampage.
He sent me this long thing of it. It's like I got a short attention span, so it's like a lot of clips and lead up. And the Japanese thing, how the Japanese, it's like an art form, and it's in Japanese, and they shows like they paint a picture, tell a story, and I didn't know how to fast forward this shit. I'm like,
what was great though is I'm explaining this, and Rampage is coming up with all these ideas, and he's like, I don't know about this, and I don't know about that. And I was like, Rampage, what? Will you watch this? Did you see anything I sent you? 5 minutes later, I get these all caps tests, like, oh shit, this is cool as shit I've ever seen. Blah 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 blah. Like, fuck, okay.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, it's on like I like the cage. I mean the ring. It's like a platform, and I see
no ropes.
I see him destroying people. I'm like, oh man, this is the coolest shit ever.
He's been so gassed about this. So he cannot stop talking about your event in Japan.
Well, and we got one of our media partners wants to talk with him and everything while he's over there.
Nice.
Yeah, Abema.
What's that? Tell me what that.
Well, I'll show you.
Off camera. What do you want to strike a deal right now?
Hell yeah, I'm trying to do some shit.
Listen, last thing I want to know. I know we got to let you go. Thoughts on UFC departing from USADA?
I think it's a good thing because USADA. I mean, a system is what it does, not what it says. And USADA was very big on this fighter safety and all this, right? But if you look at the evolution of their application of this testing and everything that goes with it, you'll see that it's just like harsh punishment after harsh punishment. All right, we got it. And I'm not saying that there aren't people that absolutely deserve to, serve their sentences or whatever, but they deal with me. And then I'm like, look, man, this is insane. Here I keep all of my supplements before I don't finish them. I keep a little bit of it and I store it when I was under testing. So it's like, if there was ever an issue, go check it. And you can go go get a brand new bottle as well, if need be. And so they're like, oh, you tested positive for Ostarine. I'm like, well, there ain't no fucking.
Ryan Garcia just got tested.
Yeah, okay, great. Well, I can tell you it's from something I was taking, but I'm not taking Ostarine. So, all right, fine. So you can pay out of pocket to have them test supplements. All right, got it. Boom, here you go. Test them. Oh, they found it right away. No shit. I told you. And my manager at the time was like, see, okay, look, they found it. He was even down there at the lab, and because there was a lab down here in OC that they could use as well. And he goes, hey, yeah, the guy testing is like, oh, this is clearly tainted supplements. That's so little. We got it. He knows exactly what this is. And I go, look, man, no, do not expect this is over. That's not what's going to happen. What they're going to do is, this is a big bureaucratic organization. They're not allowed to be, quote unquote, wrong. They're going to come with something else, and this is not going to end here. And he just was like, why are you so fucking pessimistic? He just he wanted to argue with me about it. And I go, watch. We've talked to USADA. We've been in constant contact and communication, everything all on the up and up, straight up. Then they start getting silent. And he's like, well, no. I go, I'm telling you exactly what's going to happen. After, I don't remember how long, maybe a month, 2 months. By the way, a month or 2 months in an athlete's career, being stuck on a sidelines is a long fucking time.
Hell yeah.
So then they start coming back around. Oh, well, how about this and this? And what about this thing that happened in your past? I'm like, what? And now they want to suspend me for 4 years. I'm just going, I fucking told you. Look at these pieces of shit, because there's no way they can be wrong. They have to be right at all costs, and they must punish. They see themselves as a successful organization by how many people they punish, not by having nobody testing positive, because they've done such a good job of providing providing resources and all this different stuff to keep us from dealing with tainted supplements or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about improving the sport. It's about, see, we catch people, so therefore this warrants why you pay us millions of dollars, which, by the way, the U.S. government also pays USADA. So I have my tax dollars trying to ruin my career. Mm-hmm. So then I'm like, the fuck you are. So we had to take them to arbitration, and took them to court, beat their lawyer in court. Actually had the guy who was the judge on this was the dude from the documentary Icarus. So you couldn't have found somebody that had more experience with this. And they tried everything they could to follow through on their victory of punishing me. And towards the end of this arbitration, I've got this Stanford lawyer retreating from all of the objective elements and now just trying to spin a narrative and throwing rhetoric out there to try and it's almost as if he was told to win at all costs. And I'm like, what is that in terms of fighter safety? What is that in terms of, these things can happen, and I can understand, like, oh, well, we got you under suspension until we investigate. Investigation's over. Good. You're cleared. Go. Move on. No big deal. Or even being able to sit back and go, hey, we know what contamination looks like, and we know what use looks like. This is clearly contamination. And I know that's for a fact because towards the end of USADA, a fighter that I knew was talking to me about how they were dealing with this. And sure as shit, they're like, the group at the time then is like, oh yeah, we know what contamination. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's contamination, and we know it. Just we want to make sure that that we can make sure to get you past this so that you no longer have to deal with this stuff, which is good because that contamination is a potential risk in the fact of not just whatever that substance might be, but that says that, okay, well, wherever they're mixing these products, what level, what grade of this substance is in there? What other? It leads you down a further rabbit hole.
And could that company be sued? The company that made the substance?
I did. Yeah, I did sue that company. Although did you win? I did, but there was no Yoel Romero. I wish it was some. I don't wish. Sorry, Labrada. I'm not like trying. I just picked you out of the air. Yeah. I don't actually want to sue you or hope that something bad happens to you. It's just that if it was a big company, lots of money would have been on the line. But no, this is a company that could have dissolved itself and destroyed, and bankrupted and ran away. So I had to take what I could get for the most part. But the biggest thing is I lost 18 months of my entire career from USADA trying to fuck me over when they knew exactly what the truth was. And I had done all of their stuff to the Olympic level to have things tested, to have things verified under other experts that they even employed, and they still were set to fuck me over.
Did you beat them in court as well?
I did. So at the end of the day, fuck USADA, go fuck off, fuck yourselves, burn.
They out now, right?
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah,
but they still exist. It's not like they're still around. And guess what? You're still paying for them. You're still paying for them. You're still paying for them. I'm still paying for them.
I'm gonna ask Uncle Sam for my money back.
You should. You should. If they want to. And the funny thing is, I had worked with not USADA but WADA before on a not a problem, easy as fuck.
So what happened with Romero?
Yoel Romero? Oh, he had tainted supplement, and he went and he sued that company, and he won like $50 million.
What?
Yoel Romero. What is it? Nova Gee Jesus. Yeah, he is out there like living large, man.
What he won, and he's still fighting in Bellator and shit.
I don't even believe he's 40 some years old.
No,
that Cuban, they found him somewhere and dug him out and like thought him out, and it's like he's been alive for like 1.5 million years. You know, Yoel Romero, man.
I'm telling you, if I would have won $50 million
you ain't fighting no more.
Not in my age. If I was younger, yeah, because I loved it. But 40 some years old, hell no.
Well, but the thing that came from, so after my case, now all of a sudden you start seeing the recognition of tainted supplements, these suspensions being greatly reduced. Then you get things like when the John Jones stuff, it's like, oh, well, it's just picograms and it's pulses and all this different shit. It's like, oh, now there's exceptions. When this comes into play, now you're like, oh yeah, we understand that there's all these different contexts and that can go with every scenario. But when it was me, USADA decided to destroy my career.
But they also have a clause now that USADA, you have to fill out what supplements you're taking, and if you're taking something that's tainted, that's still your fault. You know, even if it was tainted.
No way.
Yeah,
you can't know that something is tainted.
Yeah, unless you get something that's like NFC,
yes,
NSF
correct,
sports certified or informed choice.
Yes,
like so you can only buy stuff if you buy stuff that's not on that list. You're holding yourself accountable.
Yeah, and I am familiar with that. And so
it says you
can read it.
No, but I'm saying, how is an athlete supposed to know, even if they took a vitamin, like Bobby Green? Remember, he took a vitamin from Walmart, and
he took something that had DHEA in it. Like you should know you're not allowed to take that. It was
you can check up on these lists, and so they have a set of resources which I would use, Globodro, and I would check all my stuff against Globodro, and. Not there? Okay, totally fine. We're good.
I wouldn't have checked it. I've always spaced stuff like that.
You just got to take stuff that's third-party tested. It's like Informed Choice, Informed Sport, NSF certified.
Yeah. And so with like Victor Henry, everything he takes is that way.
Mm-hmm. Are you involved in that antitrust lawsuit with the UFC?
We all are.
Yeah, anyone that competed.
Yeah, in between 2011 and...
You didn't get like a letter or anything sent to
you?
Yeah.
I
got the email, but I haven't gotten an actual... we're still involved, but I looked at it and, one thing I see and it's like, well, it only goes to 2011 or 2010. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Well, statute of limitations and all this. I'm like, oh, cool. Fuck the old guys. Yeah. All right, great. Thanks. And I wonder how my payout's going to be compared to somebody else's.
That'll change depending on how much you competed.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, cool. Way to go. Yeah, I've got titles and all this different shit, but I'm in the wrong.
Mine's all from 2011 to 2011 to 22.
You're part of it too?
They only sell it for 30 some million, right? And I was told when they
a bunch of that's going to the lawyers.
All of it's going to the lawyers.
Fuck yeah.
Wait,
I was told,
you're telling me that the law or the case that was won, all the money that they won, that 300 million is going to the attorneys?
No, a bunch of it. A big chunk of them attorneys use their own money, but they got me into it because I wasn't going to be in it. And they said, listen, your cut could be upwards of $60 million. I said, okay, then fucking sign me up.
Yeah.
And then now it don't look like I'm going to be making like
who knows? We don't know what any of that's going to be at this point.
When do you guys find out your payouts?
Don't know.
Yeah. So who settled it though?
It would be the group that was involved in it. And it's also
interesting. Did you guys vote like a group leader?
I've never been contacted. And what's so funny, it's like, one of the guys who's had some of the most issues over all the years, but maybe because I was an older generation fighter. So maybe it didn't really factor into that. But at the end of the day, it's like, I thought you guys were here to do this antitrust thing because you wanted to affect the way the contract structures were and other things. Like you accomplished none of that. And, money's great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, some of this money could change a person's life potentially. So I'm not out here to really cast aspersions about that, but ultimately, like, nothing changed.
Yeah.
Nothing with the contracts.
I think they should have settled for at least $1 billion because so many fighters involved.
Whether it would be $1 billion or $1, like, it doesn't change. Like, if the point was to try and get certain things changed or
for the future,
none of that's really happened.
If the point was to change fighters' careers in the future and to help you guys get the money you deserve, but all they did was settle.
I understand that. Cost. I understand that, but being a fighter, sometimes you just got to think about yourself.
Well, of course they do, and
fuck all that. I felt like I was owed more money.
Well, to be honest, you actually are somebody that would be owed more money in general, and this is what my argument, and maybe why some of these like unionizing efforts and stuff, they don't They don't fuck with me. And that's because I'm like, it's not the guy at the bottom who needs more money. It's the guy who's at the top that's actually getting fucked. And they don't want to, they're like, no, 10, 15 grand to start an MMA career. Like, look, my fucking MMA career started at 0. And the reason I did it was because I wanted to fight people, right? Even a guy getting paid $15,000, 15 and 15, 10 and 10, he costs more than he brings in. Yeah. But when you're Rampage, the inability to properly monetize off of all the incentives that are available, that's the difference. And I'll say it's like this. When Strikeforce died and they wanted to bring me over, I'm like, okay, well, what do you want me to do? And they're like, well, we'd like you to come in and fight JDS. All right, main event of some pay-per-view. All right, well, I want pay-per-view. No, you can't get that. What do you mean I can't get that? Well, you have to be a champion. I was a champion. No, you have to win the... I'm like, wait, what? No, I'm not bothering. You don't even call me unless you're going to offer something like that. And then we went to Bellator to see what they were interested in. Boy, the guy running Bellator at that time, not Scott Coker, but Bjorn. Oh my God. Is a slippery motherfucker. And oh my God. He had part of it was me talking to you, like, they're going to offer you this, but they're going to try and say this shit to me and then talk about wanting to do pay-per-views, but then lie they're not going to do pay-per-views. It was so, when it all came down, I was like, I ain't fucking with these guys at all. But then that really only left one more place. I had to go back. Okay. Trust me, that deal was worse. And there was no chance of getting pay-per-view. Wow. So at the end of the day, it's like, all right, well, this is what it is.
Were you your own manager?
No. But it wasn't as if I didn't have any leverage. And there wasn't any other place to really ply the trade at that level. Yeah. So good luck. And shit like that, it's like, if you're the main event of a pay-per-view, even if you're not the champ, you deserve pay-per-view points. Because what is the main event? The draw. So if you think this person's a draw, give them fucking pay-per-view points. People talk about the difference between the money made in boxing versus MMA. It's because the boxing model allows you to make more money off of these incentives. You can get money by the pay-per-view numbers, money by the tickets, money by merch sold, all this different stuff. They'll cut you in on all these things. And so it's not like you make money that didn't exist. You get money off of what you draw.
I was always wondering how boxing generated more income for the fighter. I think it's the pay-per-view split,
it's
right?
That, but also there's a couple ways. One, we could do it. It's like with the Mayweather model is basically I guess you could say that would be the Golden Boy model. And that is he's the promoter and the boxer. So he's getting cuts from both ends. That's why a Floyd Mayweather will do a fight and get hundreds of millions of dollars, because he also put the money up to begin with as the promoter and did all the promoter side of stuff and fought and got a piece of all the pay-per-views as the promoter and as the boxer and a piece of the tickets and under both. And so he's incentivizing double, so to speak. But it comes from the fact of Rampage and Josh Barnett, big fight, boxing. So some promoter, JAXXON, comes along and promotes this fight. So JAXXON's going to take a cut, but then we're going to get a cut of all that pay-per-view money we draw in. And we might negotiate and go, oh, well, we want $1 on every ticket too. And we could get that. And then out of like food and beverage and everything that we want 5% on that. And so through all these different little avenues, this stuff can all add up. And then if you bring sponsors in and and other shit, and HBO is going to do a 24/7 on you guys, and that's going to pay you $50,000 on top. So there's all these different ways to monetize everything you're doing all around this one fight. It's not money that didn't exist. It's money that almost all of it is money that you drew and you got a cut of. That's what it is. It's not like the boxer, the promotion has to go out of its way and just like grab money from this bank vault and that bank vault. No, the bank vault gets filled because you fought. And then they take a chunk of it, and there's yours, and there's a chunk goes to this, and this covers production, and so on and so on and so on.
You know where I thought it was always unfair, the pay-per-view model, where it was always in my contract. Oh, after 100 buys, then you make your
after 200,000 buys.
Mine was 100,000 buys.
Changed.
Well, I mean, to a degree,
because they want their base money.
Yeah, they want to make, because some of that could be.
Yeah.
It seems it, but if you think of it from the promoter side, if you have a number that you got to hit to make sure that you're profitable, or it's not so bad that you're bleeding. And that's another thing. It's like you can't be all one way or the other. I need promotions to make money so that they can exist to pay me money, and maybe down the line bring my fighters in like Victor Henry and make them money.
To build out the
but it needs to be synergistic. Like I should be able to become rich as fuck while making them rich as fuck at the same time. Exactly. Like me getting rich would be based on the draw. If I'm creating the income and the capital to make me rich, you're going to get rich. We're all going to fucking make out of it. But that's when you get into somebody's like, you know what? No, I want to be 10 times as rich as this person at the expense of them as well. Like, fuck them. We don't care. That's where you start getting into trouble. And, having a minimum buy-in, that's fine, whatever. And then what out of that cut it should be. But yeah, to be honest, Rampage, if you were getting $1 million for a fight just to make some shit up, you probably should have gotten 10. You know what I mean? You probably easily earned 10 off of what you did at that time, because you were really hitting your peak in UFC. So your biggest drawing power was then. And that's just me speculating, but that's 10 times as an example there. 10 times. You probably earned 10 times as much as you were paid. And you know what's funny? Conor probably earned or deserves 10 times what he's paid. Brock Lesnar, even, we know that he's definitely been paid over $1 million just to fight. But he probably, even altogether, probably is worth being paid 10 times more than he got paid to fight those fights. Yeah, and that's where the biggest trouble is. And incredible. The other thing I think would be cool would be ways to create insurance around people who have booked fights. That would be great, just so that you know that you're covered if you're training your ass off for this sort of thing. You don't have
to go into a fight injured.
Yeah, well, or if you get injured, or that. Yeah, that's
you always
the worst.
You don't claim your injuries till after a fight, even though you got hurt before.
Yeah,
because you don't have insurance to pay for it.
But
you have to put on a show.
Well, and it could be done potentially by the fact that there's so many people either employed by or contracted as fighters by the UFC. It's collective bargaining. So they have a lot that they can come to the table to their insurer and go, hey, look, we can create a policy all around this kind of stuff. And if this costs, I don't know, X amount per head, that's all money going into you. But whether or not an insurance company would want to work with athletes from MMA, if they would consider it too much of a risk, I mean, there's things about it, but I would like to see such a thing potentially. Yeah. But the UFC that exists now, that I've been dealing with for my guy, Victor Henry, they take care of him well.
Yeah, that's good.
And they've been great to work with. I've got a lot of people that I've worked with over the years over there and reestablished old contacts and created new ones. And it's been good. And there's a lot of things to give them praise for. And even if you want to be critical, that's fair enough too.
Yeah. I mean, even something so small, Mayweather, what people don't know is he had a massive deal with MGM to make like a majority of the concessions on all his fights.
Sure.
So he would make millions just on food and water and drink and beer because he knew he was going to go get Corona or Modelo or whoever it may be to sponsor and the concessions at the fight.
Well, that and he knows it's a crazy deal. He's proven that he is that big of a draw.
Yeah. It's just to show though, like there's so many avenues that fighters can make money, but at the same time, we have to give credit to UFC and Dana White. I mean, the organization now, you guys are mainstream athletes in America.
Well, I always think of it this way, like if I went back to the UFC and everything was a completely different structure, if I'm making, I don't know, $20 million in a fight and the UFC makes 40, I ain't mad because they put the money up. They're the ones who got this and hire all the people. And so the promoters should be making the bulk of the money, but that is so that they can continue promoting matches literally all over the world and the next 10 ones that are events that are going down that don't include yours.
Yeah.
And that's employing all of those fighters as well. If there's nowhere to fight, we'll still find a place to do it, but it will not be the same. We don't get to be on JAXXON podcasts. We don't get to have bling on our necks. We don't get to have Lamborghinis that might have their their
bad wheel setup,
drive line and drive system all fucked. We don't even get to have that
Rampage
problem.
Blowing trannies.
That never happened.
Listen, amazing conversation. Amazing having you here at the JAXXON.
You know what's going to be amazing? Rampage Jackson taking on Shrek. Sekine.
The guy's name is Shrek. Is that why you wore all green today? The guy you're fighting's name is Shrek.
It is.
Like we're saying, Shrek. How you say his name?
Sekine.
Sucked in there?
Yeah, right. Sucked in there.
Sucked in there.
Are you having a flashback back to your time as being a bodyguard for Vietnamese gamblers?
How you remember that?
I remember everything.
God damn, you're like an elephant.
We got to keep that off the pod.
Just got the trunk.
Are you sure?
Yeah. And it's June 22nd.
June 22nd
on
Triller.
Yeah. On Triller.
Yeah, Triller.
So we could watch them live?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my.
What time would it be on in America, you know?
Oh, I don't know. 3 p.m. Japan time. I don't know what that's going to be over here.
Yeah, I don't know what that's going
to be. Ask me to do math. I gotta ask ChatGPT about that one. I don't know the time. Yeah. That's amazing to watch. So you're going to fight Shrek.
I'm going to fight
in Japan.
In Josh Barnett's Bloodsport Bushido from Japan.
Bloodsport
and Bushido. Then we're going to put the description in this video, guys, so you guys can click the link and watch this. We're going to get this podcast out before the fight.
When are you going to get it out?
When is the fight?
June 22nd.
June 22nd. Do you know when the fight is?
June 22nd.
I just want to say it one more time.
Where is it at?
It's in Sumo Hall.
Yes.
No, wow.
Ryogoku Kokugikan.
Yeah, see, I remember that. So this is where the sumo's fought?
Yeah, it was built for sumo bashos, the tournaments.
It'll be 11 o'clock here if it's at 3 o'clock there.
If you in the big locker room area, in the bathroom, the toilets are bigger. There's a giant tub.
Oh, that's
like everything's made for sumo to use, and there's a gigantic piece of a log that has been trimmed down that's planted in the ground, and it's for the sumo to warm up on, to push on, and to strike.
Wow.
Hey, cool.
Interesting fact about sumo. Did you know that they couldn't wipe their own ass? They had to have another person.
Some of them, yes, and they use the deshi to go in there. Yeah,
I couldn't.
But you would do it just be like, you'd be like, look.
No,
if there's a dingleberry, I'm gonna mess you up. That'd be Rampage.
I couldn't
get that last piece of sushi. God damn it!
Oh my!
Do you think they invented the bidet toilets for the sumos?
I don't know, but I'm sure fucking glad they did.
Hey, you don't, man.
You know,
anything. Use a bidet?
Oh,
you can't go back.
Oh man, if you get the washlet, the Toto style,
yeah, that's what I have, dude.
Bro,
it's the best.
Bro, you can't go back. You can't go back.
No, when you know that sound when you wash a plate and you run your thumb, that's you when you get up after using one of these things.
Bro, you save on toilet paper because you get the right one, it dries your ass.
Then you walk in all wet?
No, it dries your ass.
They're dry. They have dryers, blowers on them too.
Bro, and the seat is warm.
This is a Toto commercial.
Yeah.
There's even ones that will play like a little song or put some noise.
Can someone tag the best bidet company? We all need new bidets. Someone tag the best bit. Toto?
Yeah,
the song?
The best. No, that's the best one. Toto.
The song?
It has a heated seat, bro.
The brand's Toto or the song?
The brand.
The band was Toto. The band Toto doesn't own Toto, the brand, but you could get to play Africa if you want to.
Are you talking about the band Toto or the brand?
We're talking about the brand.
The brand.
The brand of what?
The toilets.
So the brand of the toilet that's bidet that has the heater and the sink and the whole thing is
all that.
It's called Toto.
I gotta go take a piss.
All right, I'm out. JAXXON Podcast, the one and only Bloodsport, TJ Dillashaw.
Always be a builder. Don't be a blocker.
That's right, baby.